Welcome to Spelunkers, a place for exploring video games and nerd culture. I'm Ryan, and this is the first ever Spelunkers Spoils. This is a spoiler cast for Disco Elysium Final Cut. So if you have not played that game and want to, listen to this at a later date. We're perfectly happy and understanding with that. The spoiler cast episodes from Spelunkers, I am not joined by any of the standard Spelunkers, but these are all voices and faces you should know and love from our channel. We have the fantastic Dory.
Hello, I am the fantastic Dory. My application to the Fantastic Four is still pending, but I am eagerly awaiting what I will get from them. So thank you.
That's right. The lovely Skelly.
No clipping.
Oh yeah, I fixed my clipping, so that's great. Hello, all listeners / watchers.
Mm-hmm. And the formidable Rob.
Whoa, that's a lot to put down as an expectation. I'm not formidable in the slightest. Hello, everyone.
It's actually on his birth certificate too. It's really weird.
It's my birth title, the formidable.
The doctor looks straight at Rob. It's like, wow, that's a Dark Souls player right there.
I don't want to mess with that baby.
That's right.
I mean, that's why we call him that. And we are all here to talk about the fantastic role-playing game Disco Elysium that is quite unlike just about anything you've played. It's a love letter to CRPGs of old in the best way possible. This is going to be a little more freeform than other Spelunkers content, a little more all over the table, all over the plate. So strap in for what is sure to be a wild ride.
Like Skelly's cookie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
I was watching you try so hard. It was so funny.
I was trying to be quiet.
No, it's just funny watching that whole journey.
And this is a game that is broken up into days, so we're just going to kind of tackle it one day at a time. We're each going to talk about our experience with that day as it comes, because it's very freeform. I'm sure we all had at least slightly different paths for each day. I'm actually kind of curious what day y'all ended the game on. Dory?
I'm checking that now. I don't remember.
I think it was day 5.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah. It was 5, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was any higher or any lower, so
I could have ended on 5, but I wound up ending on 6, and we'll get into that as we come up to it. Rob, do you know what day you ended on?
I think it was 5, because I think day 4 was when things really hit the fan outside.
Yeah, there's a lot hitting the fan in this game.
Yeah. Sometimes you're tie.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's up there for a little while.
Hey.
Yeah.
Skelly.
You could say that your tie is sometimes not the biggest fan of it.
Not at all.
How many days did you take, Skelly?
Day 6
Day
was
6.
my last day.
All right.
Why does this keep focusing and unfocusing? What's up with that?
I don't know.
All
You're
right,
Waiting for your cookie.
Oh, sorry.
It only
Here you go.
focuses on the cookie.
Cam,
Yeah.
we call it.
There you go.
It worked.
So let's start with day 1. We wake up in a trashed hotel room, just demolished hotel room, missing a shoe, tie on the fan, man in his middle age as our titular character.
Even before that, you get the limbic system and the ancient reptilian brain.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
you're like
right.
having a conversation with yourself and like whether or not you should just give up.
Yeah. You're almost. I get the sense like it's your subconscious and your half-conscious mind arguing with each other about even trying to exist anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of I wouldn't call it a trope, but it's a consistent narrative starting point for a lot of these games. Like Planescape Torment and Torment Tides of Numenera, they all have similar openings where it's typically like a black canvas with text on the side, and it's okay, how are you going to participate to start in this world?
Yeah, and that was a surprise to me because I haven't really played a lot of CRPGs. This is basically my first one, but
Same, I think.
I'm a big fan of RPGs overall, and as a D&D player, this like hits awesomely close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who has played the original? Who's played the non-final cut?
This was my first time.
Okay.
I have.
So you have. Did you
Mhm.
did you beat it?
No, I got to, I think it was day 3.
Okay.
And so I got about halfway through, but then I just got distracted, and then they announced that the final cut was coming. I was like, I'll just wait. It was a free patch, so I'll hold off
Yeah,
on that, and I'm glad
fair
I did
enough.
because it's incredible.
Yeah, I have played the original and I've beat it. It was my game of the year for. Oh no, it was 2019, right?
Mhm.
It was like if Kingdom Hearts 3 hadn't come out that year, and just for pure like emotional and nostalgia reasons, Disco Elysium probably would have been my game of the year.
Like
Yeah.
original game of the year kind of thing,
What's that?
or like original game of the year, not tied to a sequel or anything.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was number 2, and honestly, I mean, yeah, I think Cage 3, I put like hundreds of hours into it, and Disco Elysium a lot less by contrast. So that's another way of measuring it. But yeah, I freaking love Disco Elysium, and I was really happy to see Final Cut, and I'm glad that they added the voice acting and all that stuff. Really made a huge difference to the narrative, even though I thought this game was great, even without all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the voice acting really helps make the game. I have a great time, and this is a game with basically no combat. This is all done through conversations and dice rolls. So this really is D&D the video
I had
game.
some combat, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, there was a gun fired.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that.
That's true. Yeah.
Rob, did you punch a child? Be honest with me. Did you?
A roundhouse kicked a motherfucker.
Oh, there we go. That's the better answer. Okay.
Yeah, so we get this limbic system, the lower parts of our brain arguing with trying to wake up, and then we wake up in this just trashed hotel room. Like 20 teenagers rented one hotel room with an illegally gotten case of 30 Bud Lights and just smashed the hotel room all night long. But it's just one guy. It's just you in your middle-aged form, waking up with a terrible hangover, clothes strewn everywhere, windows smashed, and you have a chance to explore a little bit. I don't know. Did anyone go into the bathroom immediately and like go to look in the mirror and try to see what you look like?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did the first time I played. I didn't this time.
I don't think I ever actually was able to, that was one of the few checks I think that I never was able to do on this.
Oh
playthrough.
wow.
On my original, I was able to do it, and so I already knew what he looked like and all that. Did I get the? I got to know what he looked. Oh, that's right. I was trying to fix the expression, and I couldn't do it in this one.
Oh
But
yeah, I love
I was able
that.
to do it in my original file, but I wasn't able to do it on this one.
Fixing the expression's not worth it. He looks so sad without the expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better and then worse.
Well, then I'm glad I failed that check.
And then, did you guys shave?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Also, mistake.
Well, I shaved the
yeah.
4th day.
Right, yeah.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
later on.
I so desperately wanted him to go. I know we're skipping a little around, but I've done the date that he. Well, it's not really a date, but he
The
goes
date
on,
with the boat lady?
yeah, with the
I
boat.
didn't do
lady.
that.
Wow.
It's so cute. It's so beautiful. It's not really a date. I don't want to give too much away, but it is really beautiful, and I really recommend for anyone to check it out. It's a very sweet interaction between these two characters that are obviously in kind of similar places in their lives, and just like kind of hashing out what that means for each of them. I didn't get, again, another thing I didn't get here, but I got in the original, so I knew what I was missing. I knew what I was missing out on, so to speak. So yeah, that whole thing is great. She's great.
I didn't
She's
even
so
know you could have a
cute.
date with her.
You can.
Yeah.
So
It takes a lot of different. It takes a couple of different checks, and they're really tough to get. You have to
Yeah, I
have, like,
didn't-
really
I
good
didn't get to
stats
date her.
and very certain skills.
oh, and I guess so what kind of skills did y'all have? Because there's 4 basic trees. There's like book smarts, street smarts, like strength kind of, and then dexterity, I guess, are the 2 ways they break up the body, like how good you are with your body versus how like overly strong you are. I went like,
yeah, there's what are they?
yeah, I don't remember the exact terminology.
I'm pulling it up.
It's like
right
physical,
now.
instrument.
Intellect, psyche, physique, and motorics.
Yes. Okay. So motorics is like dexterity. Physique is like
Agile.
build. Yeah. I was like book smart, so the like logic and drama tree, the light blue, and motorix. So not
I
strong,
always
but
love
dexterous.
picking encyclopedia because it just gives you so much knowledge about the world. So yeah, I generally go with a more mental build, psyche and emotional, and then dexterity is maybe a little lower, and physique is almost nothing. And I had a really tough time with, for example, like the ice cream check where you have to like open it and stuff like that, and like a lot of the physical legendary checks. And forget about round kicking that racist asshole. That was never going to happen. So I gave up on that ever happening. But I've done it before. So again, just refer to my original run where I did pretty much everything that you could do in this game anyway, except for obviously the new content, which we'll get into.
Yeah. So I had an interesting character creation experience where I streamed the opening of it, and
That's
I had
right.
based on how our Twitch channel works, we have like choose the next direction for channel points or punk bucks, and so for every attribute we had people choose where I would invest one. I can't remember if it was invest one or like pick two. But then at the very end, I had someone do kind of a wild card where they've shifted one of those placed and moved it into another one just to kind of usurp the intended goal everyone had. And I ended up with a very high psyche. My primary skill was Inland Empire because they understand me, which was great. So I think my psyche was at like 4. My intellect was 3. My physique ended up as 4 as well, and my motorix was at 1.
Wow.
Okay.
So
Ours are kind of close.
yeah.
Yeah, my intellect was 3. My physique was 4. My physique was 1. And my motorix was 3.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So fairly similar.
Yeah, I want to say it was 5 on intellect, 4 on physique, 4 on motorix, 2 on physique, and 1 on the other one.
Psyche?
Psyche, that's it.
Yeah, I leaned a lot into Inland Empire, empathy, and suggestion. Those ones were big for me.
Yeah. I leaned into logic and encyclopedia a lot, and I also love that encyclopedia thing. One of my favorite moments in this game happened for me on day 2, maybe day 3. I want to say day 2 though. I like just walked by. We haven't even introduced him yet, but I walked by Kim's car, and a thought bubble came up, and it was just like this 10-minute conversation about extremely in-depth, nerdy mechanical shit, how the engine works, and I love that stuff. I love cars in real life, and the fact that they use extremely accurate terminology, just like, I was eating it up.
Yeah, that's great. There's someone we can meet later that really helps expand on that, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So we either go into the bathroom or we don't. We exit our hotel room, and there are people to talk to in this hotel. Did you guys talk to the lady upstairs smoking a cigarette? Who we?
Yes.
I did.
Of course, I did as well. We get a little bit of our backstory from her. We learn that we are a police detective there to investigate a murder.
Most foul.
Chocolat bleu.
That there is a body currently hanging from a tree behind this hotel.
And has been for a week.
Yeah.
Whoops. Our bad.
Yeah. Sorry, we were out getting pistachio ice cream. We couldn't get here any faster.
By pistachio ice cream, we mean we got totally smashed.
And we come downstairs and we meet our partner for the rest of this adventure.
Woo!
The absolute best boy.
Kim.
I love you, Kim!
Kim Kitsuragi. The man who makes me want to be a better man.
Yeah,
Same.
absolutely.
Yep.
I would
He's
honestly
the best
say
of us.
Kim Kitsuragi is probably the best character of 2019.
Yeah.
Or 2021,
easily.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I possibly best sidekick, like just ever.
Definitely best sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Used to be Garrus for me.
He's beating Donald and Goofy any day. He's got that. I don't see
Stiff
Donald
competition.
Goofy block.
Donald
Yeah,
Goofy
right.
get blown away by the snowstorm. They're
That's right.
terrible.
Exactly.
Kitsuragi would just trek his way through.
He would. He would carry you on his back.
That's
I
true.
would just imagine Kim coming up and being like, "It's time for seasoned duck." Anyway, Yeah, Kim's the best, and my partner's name is Kim, so I mean that in both ways.
That's
Doubly
awesome.
so. And Kim gives us a little bit of background here. Tells us that the body has been there for a week. Someone anonymous called it in. We're from precinct 47, if I remember correctly, and he's from 51, something like that.
I'm
Try-
sensing a
43?
Hitman crossover.
43, maybe.
I can't remember. Yeah.
I hope it's 47. I don't remember though.
I
But
don't remember.
From two different precincts, that this area of Revachol is kind of lies between them and is
41
Okay.
and 57.
41 and 57.
You're
All
combining them.
So close. That this area of Revachol is kind of divided between them, so the police don't get a lot of presence because it's not truly claimed by any one department. So this is like a collaborative effort between the departments to solve this murder.
Which is a lot to unpack.
Yes, yeah, there is a lot here. This is a world rife with strife. Just rife with strife.
Yeah, like the whole backdrop for this world is incredible and immediately captivating. I mean, as you can see behind me, like the watercolor art style that it has for it, like combined with how they start slowly eking out in details about the world that you're in and like a failed communist revolution. It dramatically impacts everyone's lives, and that's part of what I from the get-go really appreciate about this game is how nuanced it is, as well as lampooning like political perspectives across the board. Like it has fun on all parts of the spectrum, but in particular it's believable characters that are impacted by decades of oppression and revolution and failed dreams.
Yeah.
And it's heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is quite possibly the realest feeling video game world I've ever experienced. And it comes from those places. Like, even if I've only talked to a character for 5 lines, I can feel that character has had a history in this world in those 5 lines. When I walk by a car, I'm like, oh, that. In other games, I'm like, just a car, or it's this model of car from the game, whatever. But this one's like, oh, this is this model. It has this engine with this supercharger, with this cam setup. There is so much detail to everything that it really makes it feel real.
It has presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So we talked to Kim, and this is where we can start to broaden our horizons a little bit. From here, I went back to look at the body right away. There is a young boy back there throwing rocks at the body.
A perfectly nice, decent boy
who killed me.
Any harm.
He demoralized me to death the first time I talked to him. Yes.
That's amazing. I love that.
I was laughing so hard that I died within 45 minutes of starting the game up because I got ridiculed by a child.
You can die even faster if you get your strange tie mangled up in the fan. It'll choke you to death, and that's in the first minute.
So I died within the first 5 minutes of the game my first time because I tried to get the tie, failed to check, and had a heart attack.
Yeah, so there's like
we're done.
3 ways to die in the first hour of the game or whatever.
Yeah, it's great.
So good. What did everyone like go right to the body after meeting Kim? Well,
no, I did not. I talked to the bartender. The bar manager. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. The bar manager.
Wow, Gart is mad now. He's not a tender.
Could you please address me by my title?
I am not a bartender. I'm not a lowly bartender.
I'm a bar manager.
Poor Gart.
Yeah, the bar manager.
So much
Gart,
shit.
And has Gart is the bar manager in so many different locations, of course. I basically was like, hey, what's up? Like, he's like, hey, you owe me a whole shit ton of money. And I'm like, wow, that sucks, dude. Hope that works out for you.
And an apology.
And that I did give him an apology, but I was fucking broke as shit. So I was like, all right, I'll pay you eventually. But yeah.
Yeah. Hold that thought.
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere because I don't even know where my car is. So you're
I don't
Yeah,
know what direction north is.
I think I went to Kim's car and like radioed in after talking to Gart. I wanted to see who made the call. And then I did some exploring around the city. We're in no rush. The body's been up there a week, you know?
You're just
And-
playing Harry.
Probably like an hour in to exploring and walking around and talking to people. I finally was like, okay, I guess I'll go check out this body thing or whatever.
I was ready
Yeah,
to get ridiculed. So
I knew that. Well, so obviously my experience is a little different. I've already played the game, so I knew where to go and who to talk to. And I still said, nah, fuck that. I'll get to it eventually, and I'll see like what different conversations I can have and if there's anything new and blah blah blah. And yeah, so it still took me a while to get to the body, and even once I did, it took me. I don't think the body came down until day 2 or day 3.
Oh, wow.
I just could not pass those checks, and I had a tough time remembering where the things were that helped you pass the checks easier. And even once I did, yeah, I got some we'll talk about this later. I got some incredibly bad rolls where I had like a 98 or 96% chance of success and I still failed.
XCOM effect.
Yeah.
I had the opposite where I had several rolls that were like 8% passed first try.
Oh man.
Yeah, those are such great feelings.
Mhm.
When the green hue pops up and like, yeah, I did it. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I did it.
Absolutely. So yeah, so I think I went around the city. I don't really remember too much of where I went. I think there were a couple places I knew to avoid. I don't think I talked to the racist lorryman once because I already knew what he was going to be like, and I was like, yeah, I don't need to do that side quest, and I don't want to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
And then I didn't radio the station for a long time because I knew what was going to happen, and I just knew I was going to feel bad for Harry, so I put that off for a bit. But eventually I got to it, and I was like, yeah, wow, I'm going to cut this short and not tell them about my badge or my gun or anything like that. We are not talking about that.
Yeah, I due to just RPG syndrome, would click every talking option that I possibly could every time, and I'm like, oh boy, this is
And the game really lets you.
Yep, has no problem letting you just dig yourself into a 20-foot pit and wallow in it.
Mhm.
Dude, I don't think the body came down. I'm looking now, but I don't think it came down until like day 4 or 5.
Whoa. Rob, did you get the body down on day 1?
My first playthrough, yes. I failed my the puke check.
Yeah.
But after I overcame that, I managed to shoot down the body.
Yep.
This most recent full playthrough, I think it was day 2. Just because I just couldn't pass the checks.
Right.
So I had to go finish a couple things.
Yeah.
I had to get the racist guy to get it down for me.
Oh, really? That'll happen?
Yeah, I couldn't get it down. I couldn't shoot it down. Kim couldn't shoot it down.
Oh, that's right. That's what happened to me this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I failed the vomit check a couple times, and then I met the lovely, perfectly unassuming gardener. Has nothing else to do with this story. Gave me some ammonia so I could overcome it and pass the shot on the first check. But I had decent hand-eye coordination, so I had like a 78% chance to have that happen.
Yeah, Kim missed, and then I think cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able. I don't remember what my chances were. I think they were pretty decent. I think I put on a few pieces of like clothes. So in this game, clothing gives you certain boosts to certain stats, and so yeah. So
do drugs.
Put on, and you can also do drugs if you want. I did not, but you certainly can.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun conversation. We'll have to talk about that, just like drug impact.
Who did drugs and who did not? But yeah, I was Harry was able to. Harry was able to get it on the first shot. I think I had to close one of my eyes and like aim steady instead. Like the game gives you a couple of boosts to this shot all by itself. And so yeah, I was able to do it. I think on day 2 or 3.
Yeah,
but it took me a while. I just couldn't pass that vomit check. I had to keep figuring ways to get around it.
Maybe you needed to take some drugs. I didn't do any drugs. I had a sober Harry whole time.
I did as well. I had a Harry that wanted to be better and wanted to be sober. I know that's boring, and I And
Well,
personally,
so
I'm personally also don't do drugs, so I typically don't have my characters do it either.
so that's this is a fun topic, I think, is because one, the game was banned in Australia for this reason. And poor
What's up,
Mitch.
Mitch? How's it going, Mitch?
But I think that's really, really fascinating that this game gives you this blank slate of a character, literally tabula rasa, and you can indulge hardcore into like drugs and alcohol to get the best results, but then you have to start weighing what that actually means on his health and psyche.
Mhm.
And it puts the player in an interesting position, I think, because I'm someone who's like, I sometimes do drugs and alcohol, and I have no judgment for that stuff, really. But I was of the position when I started the game. I empathized with Harry, and I wanted to help this character like be a better person.
Yeah.
And from what it sounds like, the three of us, in some respects, like viewed it in that way. But I also am here for the anarchy. Shoot me up with everything, and I want to hear what that's like, Skelly.
Oh yeah. So initially I was like, oh, he's a recovering alcoholic and like drug addict. I'm not gonna do any.
Unless-
I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do any drugs. But then we got to the fucking church, and I was like, let's go. And I went fucking crazy, smoking all the cigarettes, drinking everything, shooting up, snorting, consuming. I went fucking bonkers. And to be frank, there were no visible cons to any of that. It didn't seem to bug him at all, really.
I love that the
seemed fine.
church is what drove you to drink.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot going on there. There was a lot to unpack. That shit was crazy. Probably one of my favorite parts of the game.
I did not spend a lot of time in the church. I really played this as like hard-boiled detective on the case.
With a little bit of
man.
magical realism.
Yeah, just a touch.
Yeah.
The church is so good.
And I know I'm gonna not get yelled at in a bad way, but people are gonna be shocked when I say I barely talked with the cryptozoologist.
What?
Okay.
Did
All
the
right.
ending even make sense to you then?
Yeah.
Ryan, we have problems.
Well, so the day that I met them, that night I met Ruby.
Oh.
Things were so accelerated for me at that point that like by the time I met them, I was already like moving on to the end state.
That's
Fair.
Wow. I don't.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the cryptozoologist story.
Freaking
Favorite
love-
fucking part.
Yeah.
They're so great, and I failed a check towards the end that left me heartbroken.
From the get-go, like when you first meet Lena, and she's like the kindest soul.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but compassion is like, and like as you start to if you choose to be somewhat honest, like I don't know who I am, and you can tell there's compassion and concern. Like she's seen weird stuff and is like used to being around or looking for weird stuff, and this is just like heartbreartbreaking to her.
I hit on her.
Of course you did.
So
Thirsty Skelly.
How did that go? I'm very curious.
she was like pretty receptive, shockingly. And then I found out she had a fucking husband. And I was like, whoa, bitch, chill.
But kept her pen.
Yeah. I was like, give me that fucking pin.
That's a
Stupid.
A great green ape pen, if I remember.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
she's a doll, and
She's so sweet.
Yeah, lovely.
it's great just sitting and talking with her to start,
Mhm.
and then Kim behind you like, we should really go.
We should leave.
I really
It's like,
wanted.
tell
Kim-
me a story.
I love Kim Kitsuragi a ton, but I really wanted him to shut the fuck up. I was like, Kim, shut the fuck up.
No, that's so on brand.
I know.
It's so
It's
good. I love
absolutely
Kim.
is.
He's like, hey, can we do our jobs solve the
Kim,
murder.
it's all interconnected, Kim. It's all
There's a
connected.
kid throwing rocks at a corpse outside.
Yeah, he's like, no, let's not shoot the kid. How about we don't do that? Also, his body's been hanging here for 3 weeks or something. Let's try and get it down, maybe. I don't know.
And see, my reaction was just like, you know what? You're right, Kim. Let's do that every time.
I was like, no, but Kim, look, it's a doomed commercial area. What's the problem? We gotta find out.
It can't be capitalism. It's got to be a mystical curse.
Yeah, there's a curse. It's that dice maker. She's a bitch. No, yeah, I was like, I need to know. Kim was
That's-
miserable.
That's too funny.
So I think the notable day one things for me is I got the body down day one.
That's crazy.
I was
Nice.
able to jump the roof and get my coat and make it into the yard at like 8, 9 o'clock day one night. So I didn't get to talk to Everard yet, but I was able to get in the next day, no problem.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
Yeah, and I think that was because again it was like a motorix check, so I failed it the first time but passed it the second.
I didn't even know you could do that.
And then
That's
just meeting
nuts.
people, meeting Lena, the gardener, meeting Kuno and Kuno S, who are the children throwing
Gardener.
rocks. But yes, perfectly unassuming, not important to the story at all. Gardener.
She's the gardener.
Yeah,
She's just
definitely
I don't know
not
why
watching
are
you.
So obsessed with her.
Gives you great gloves.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's very nice.
I
Until you're accidentally racist to her.
yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, if you pass or fail a check, you're like racist suddenly to
Oh,
her.
I'm
And I was like,
boy.
oh, cool. I guess I suck now. Great. I'm really gonna embrace this.
To be fair, Skelly, you as your character, you already sucked before this too. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
I tried to overcome it. It didn't work. The old Harry bubbled through.
Oh,
I talked with the people on strike because there's like a strike going on at the shipping facility in this town, and the police believe the strike to be connected to the murder in some fashion.
Ooh.
As we know now that the person murdered was part of like the private defense force, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, at this point,
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, not yet. Okay.
Nope.
But so we don't know that yet, but we assume it's connected to the strike in some fashion. I met the strikers. I met is it Measurehead? That's right. I almost called him Meathead.
Yep.
Who is
I mean,
Accurate.
not far
also.
off.
just a terrible person. Just
the fucking worst. I hate talking to him. They gave so many lines, and I blazed because I knew what he was gonna say, so I just blazed through all of his conversation. I'm like, dude, I am not here for your conversation.
So yeah, we should illustrate. So what part of what makes Measurehead such a piece of shit is, I mean, he's racist, but like it goes well beyond that. There is a particular really shitty long running pseudoscience known as phrenology.
Yeah.
Where the width and measurements of one's cranium dictate what they're capable of, and so all judgments passed should be dictated by those very clear, logical, calculated things.
And I want to point out, by the way, I know that the devs obviously are putting this out to make racism look ridiculous, and it is. But phrenology has always been debunked. Even when phrenology first debuted, it was very quickly scientifically debunked. And I mean, today especially, we know that people's brains, it's how interconnected their neurons and the neural pathways are that matters, not how big their head is or how big their brain
Right.
is.
Yeah.
It
Is
nothing
that what he
to do
was
with that.
preaching?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically preaching like some, weird-
Bastardized phrenology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bastardized version of phrenology.
I just didn't listen to him at
Oh,
all. So I
I-
have no
I
idea.
mean, that's the right choice.
I
You
read-
can't go wrong.
Every word so I could understand exactly how much I hate this prick.
Know your enemy.
No, I did,
Anyone,
as
look,
soon as he was saying some weird fuck shit, I was just like, all right, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Fuck. Clicking.
this is a safe place to admit this. I did not do this, nor would I ever. But did anyone incorporate his fucked up theory so that you could like manipulate him or something like that? I did not.
No.
I had a friend do it on accident. He
Okay.
didn't know what it meant. He's like, advanced race theory, sure.
Oh.
I love advancing races equally.
I was tempted just to see what would happen, but I was like, I can't do it this run. I want this to be like my playthrough.
Yeah.
because funnily enough, like how I'd explain my character being built, Chad had already kind of created a character that I kind of identified with like high empathy and understanding, like emotional intelligence, and so I wanted to like lean into that more. And just my love of Inland Empire and David Lynch and everything. But I want to do a playthrough where I am just a complete piece of shit, alcohol and drug abuser, leaning into that and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. This is a game where I find myself in another year and a half, I'm going to go back and have a different build, go at it with a different play style, see what other options I could take. Not that I rushed through this, but like smell the roses a little bit more than I did this playthrough.
That's part of the reason why this is being recorded when it is I was planning on playing through, and then I got to a point in which I could have bum rushed and gone through the ending, but I was like, no, I want to see a couple things through, such as the cryptozoologist storyline, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah,
best decision.
And this is a game that it absolutely rewards exploration and humoring what's contained within.
Mm-hmm.
I will say from what I know of the cryptozoology stuff, that does sound extremely interesting. I'm very curious
It's so good
to touch it more. But even without that, this is an awesome murder mystery story.
It's great.
Playing through this just as a detective down on his luck trying to solve this crime was an absolute blast. I adored my time playing it that way too.
And there's no way you're going to see everything in a single playthrough. It's impossible.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, I'm incredibly disappointed in you, Ryan, but we'll make it through this.
It's okay. I'm disappointed in myself most days.
Despite all your flaws.
Yeah, no, the church and the whole cryptozoology stuff were some of my favorite parts of the game. Because like baseline, it's a whole murder mystery detective. But bro, they sprinkle some bullshit in there, and I will eat that bullshit all day long.
They go
so
full fucking Lynch.
It's so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the whole the shit that's between all the worlds. What is that? What is that shit called?
Oh, the pale?
Or no.
Pale.
The pale, yeah.
The pale. And all the pale stuff.
Yeah, that's super interesting. The broader world building here is really cool. And that's
so good.
I believe I've heard somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that's because this game used to be a D&D. Like there was a group of friends playing this world as a D&D campaign and then turned it into a game.
Yeah, the DM founded the game company. Well, he wrote a book, founded the game company, and then went on to develop this game. The DM of that campaign.
Yeah, and then the novel is eventually going to be translated into English, but it still hasn't, unfortunately.
It's not published yet, is it?
It's not published yet. No.
Yeah.
Well, the original book I think is, but it's in Czech or Polish or something. And they are going to translate. It's supposed to come out last year or this year, but it hasn't come out yet, probably through the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I a little brag time here. My professor of Irish literature allowed me to do an essay on The Pale and Third Policeman by Flynn O'Brien, which I really recommend. There's a lot of interesting overlap between The Third Policeman and Disco Elysium.
Whoa, The Third Policeman?
Yeah, it's a really good surreal, like magical realist, surrealist book. Very funny. But yeah, I got to write an essay on it and on the overlap between The Pale and the way The Third Policeman works. And that was so much fun. And this was such a great game to compare that to. But yeah, The Pale is super interesting. And I mean, you can really get in it with that rich neoliberal lady who is maybe not even neoliberal, but
Joyce Mercer.
Joyce?
Yeah, Joyce.
Messier. Yeah.
Messier.
Yeah, from the White Pines Corporation. She's there to
Wild Pines.
Wild Pines, that's right. Be a liaison between the union and the company for this strike going on. She has sailed in. As you're on a bit of an archipelago, right? In this area, yeah. So everything's a bunch of islands. So there's a lot of water surrounding everything. Yeah, the only other thing I think I did on my first day was meet the man smoking a cigarette on the balcony that evening.
Oh, you met him on the first day?
Yeah.
Dude, you were fucking hauling ass through this game.
And now you understand why I barely had time to meet the cryptozoologists. Like I said, by the day I met them, that night I was meeting Ruby. I was hunting clues down for this murder. I
double checked. It took me 9 hours of gameplay to get to look at the body. Excuse me, 9 hours, and then I looked at the
Tracks.
body. I double checked.
That's awesome. So did you not meet the Sunday friend?
I did.
No,
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, just
on
not that
day
night.
1.
No, not on day
Oh,
1.
okay.
That was day 3, I believe.
What's
Okay.
weird about the Sunday friend is he kept claiming he was taking back Sunday, and I don't understand why he said that. It's a weird thing.
I think the Sunday friend's very interesting. That gets into the broader political machinations in this world.
Ryan, you're telling me there's politics in this game? Wait
What?
a second. There's
No, video games don't have politics.
Games?
Never.
Get that outta here.
No.
I love that this game's unafraid and unashamed to be like, no, politics is part of life. Like, this is,
Politics are everything, a part of every facet of life.
you don't have to agree on it, but you have to come to terms with the fact that you're gonna come to face with it at some point in your life, no matter what. And
On this topic, where did everybody stand? Where was everybody's Harry on the
All right.
I'm a
politics
fucking
scale?
communist.
I'm a fucking communist, and it took me longer this time to be a communist because I knew what that would entail from my last playthrough. But it is the closest politically to what I identify with, at least within the game. And you can't be an anarchist, so I was like, all right, this'll do. And then, yeah, so I was the communist cop, and then it looks like Rob was too. What about y'all?
officers of the RCM do not have positions on politics.
Same.
Oh, my God.
But it's only because I was really drugged up.
Y'all are both fucking centrists.
We
I
were
can't believe
super.
it.
I was super moral intern.
Oh my God.
That's
I
great.
converted.
And one communist who's cool.
I converted Egghead to moral internism.
Oh
that-
my, what?
One guy,
That's not hard.
he's like hardcore. No, now he says medium core.
That's
know.
amazing.
It's so good.
I hate this so
It's so
I
good.
hate this so much. Why would you even tell me?
He was like,
that
"Where should I
personally?
stand politically?" And I was like, "I don't care." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, let's go, medium core."
Apathy is the way.
Yeah. Oh my god, so good. But yeah, that's where I stood as well. Because I was like, maybe Kimmy will like me if I don't fucking care about anything.
For me, it was less like maybe Kimmy will like me, and more, again, I came to this very much as a detective on the case. The detective is not here to have an opinion on politics.
You're just
Detective
another
Dick Mullen.
Kim.
Here to solve the
Detective
case.
Dick Mullen in the flesh, right
Yes.
here, everybody.
I literally got the thought
Dick
bubble for
Mullen?
boring cop, and
Oh
That's true, Ryan. That's absolutely
Yeah.
true. Did you
Uh-huh.
take it? You had to have.
yeah, I did. And
Thank God.
I
Okay,
also
absolutely
got the thought bubble for sorry cop because I said sorry so many times.
I had that as an option.
I didn't take
I
that one.
I think I went when I was done. I didn't like end up as like in my thought cabinet committed to communist cop. I was an art cop.
Okay.
God.
I also got art cop. It took me a bit, but I hadn't gotten art cop last time. But yeah, I criticized the hell out of some artwork and told everyone my opinion on architecture and sculptures and paintings and shit. Yeah, I let people know I have thoughts and opinions on art, and you should hear them because they're very developed.
Did you guys paint the wall?
I wanted to, but
I did my first
never,
time.
That was one of the checks I never was able to do.
Really?
Which
I
wall?
did. I did a stick man.
There's so there's a wall along the path behind.
Behind the bookstore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next door, you go in to see Kunoes.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
There's a wall,
Okay.
and you can paint.
You can
it.
paint that one.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I definitely looked at that wall, but I never painted it.
Yeah, I painted a stick.
It only
figure
comes
on
up as an option if you pass a check to study the wall closely.
Mhm.
I must have failed the
Oh.
check or never tried
Yeah.
it. We've mentioned thought trees or internalized thoughts here, but so the first one, like the tutorialization of internalizing these thoughts, is the volumetric shit compressor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Great name.
Just a great name. And
I had one of those.
the first time you go to see the body, you almost vomit, and like Kim gives you a little talking to. He's like, dude, you gotta get your shit together. Right? We gotta figure out this case, gotta get your shit together, and you're presented with this thought bubble. So you have so many slots internally to like commit memory to a certain concept. And it takes in-game time for those concepts to fully come to fruition. Just like real life, you have to think about a thing for an extended period of time to have an opinion on it or internalize it in some fashion.
That's what it's like for you guys.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I just think about.
I just don't commit anything to memory.
Yeah, I just think about things for like an hour, and suddenly I'm like a genius about architecture. So.
Mm-hmm. And
Did you guys do the homosexuality thought thing?
I
That
did,
never
I think
came
so,
up.
Yeah.
Never
I
saw
didn't
it.
get to finish it. I was so close to the end
It's
of
so
the game.
good. It's so funny. He's like, Kim, what is homosexuality? It's so funny. And then he stops worrying about his own, but then he starts asking Kim if Kim is a homosexual. And it's so funny. It's so funny because like Harry like doesn't know about the concept. It's after he meets the guy who's smoking on the balcony.
Right.
Yeah.
I started getting
And he's like, there's
conversations
something
that-
about him. I don't know. It's so good.
I guess I never
That's
went far
awesome.
enough in that tree. I think the most interesting one I got was magnesium-based life form.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was
one's
really
pretty
funny.
Mhm.
Yeah, I definitely got Sorry Cop. It's true across all of my playthroughs so far, the 2 or 3-ish. I technically beat the first game, and then I went back to it, and I put in another 10 or so more hours into a slightly different playthrough, where I did things a little differently. Still, generally, I'm boring when it comes to RP. Well, I don't want to say boring. That's a bit too judgmental, but I'm very. I just play like I would act in those situations.
Yeah, you
generally
insert
speaking.
yourself.
Yeah, and I can't insert a different version of me. Like when I'm playing Mass Effect, I can't do Renegade Shep most of the time unless it's like makes
Most
strategic
people
sense.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you know, some people think that's boring, but I mean, I can't do anything else.
It's your way to
feel like-
play.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most authentic way for me to play the game, and I really like to know, like, well, what if I was in that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Anyway,
that's
like,
what's fun.
like I always got Sorry Cop, always, and it makes sense. I apologize a lot. I feel sorry a lot of the time. You know, that often has to do with like underlying anxiety and depression and mental health issues. So like it made total sense, and I think also just canonically, Harry as a character is a sorry cop.
Yeah.
I think he's always been a very sorry person, even though like BoJack Horseman, that famous line from Todd's like, you can't keep apologizing and then not doing better. It doesn't actually mean anything if you don't do better.
Yep.
So-
Apologies don't mean shit unless you don't keep repeating it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I even think that sentiment is echoed to a good degree at the end of this game, but we'll get there at some point. I'm with you there, though, Dory. I definitely try to put myself in the shoes of the character, and I think this game does a great job of taking a character who has lived in this world for decades and making the character and you equally confused with what's going on by just being amnesiac for a while.
All right. Does anybody, by the way, complete side topic, but does anyone else want there to be like a Dick Mullen like series or something that they come out with? Because I genuinely kind of enjoyed reading those Dick Mullen books. Like that was how I passed a lot of my time in between side quests, because I knew what to do a lot of the time, except for the new ones. And often I would have to wait for a certain hour for a certain quest. This is kind of like Majora's Mask in that way. But I had to wait for certain hours for certain things to actually happen in game or for them to become available. So reading books is your best friend in that game and in real life, but mostly in this game.
Yeah, definitely spent a lot of time reading books. I would be down for that, but I also lived the Dick Mullen experience with this playthrough.
Yes,
so
you did. You were Dick Mullen. So.
They just wrote those books after me. All right. Anyone else have anything interesting on their day one they'd like to talk about? Because I want to talk about the debriefing with Kim at the end of day one, but that's at the very end of day one. So
Wait, first, two things. Very much like in real life, I did not read any of the books except for the one on cockatoos. I read them, but I didn't read them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the bird one is the only one I read. Also, I think this is really pertinent and exciting to find out, since a lot of you didn't do the homosexual underground, which is what it's called, thought cabinet thing. Kim is gay, by the way.
Oh,
You find that out by pursuing this thought thing.
Oh, I did. I got it I think I got it in my original playthrough, but I don't know if I remembered that.
It's so briefly touched on. Like literally, Harry asks, like, "Where do you stand on this?" By the way, and he was like, "I lean this way," and that is the only time they touch on it at all.
That's dope.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
exactly
I think
what
it's
it needs
so
to
great.
be. Yeah.
I think it's super great. It's just like hey, like, how do you stand on this? Oh, this is where I am. And then she's like, okay, cool. And
Yep.
then you keep going on with your life.
Yeah.
Keep investigating the murder.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool. I was like, wow, what? Kim? I didn't know that. I was so excited. But yes.
Yeah. I don't think I even if cool shit happened on day one, I wouldn't really be able to tell you. It's been months since I played. I don't remember anything specifically that super stands out for me. Did everyone meet Everard on day one, or did we meet him on day two?
I
met
didn't
him
meet
on
him
day
until
2.
a way long.
Okay.
Way longer.
I met
than that.
Joyce.
Speedy.
Huh?
What? I was Ryan. I was just curious.
I was
what
able
you
to get into the shipping yard night one, but it was after he'd already left for the day, so I got to talk to him.
Right, it was when he jumped across.
Yeah, I got to talk to him early day 2, talk to Joyce day 2.
How did everyone's relationship with Kuno the first day? Like, what was your impression of him?
I was
Piece of
ready to
shit.
stab him. Little fucker killed
Fuck
me.
you. Still fuck Kuno. Kuno sucks. I still hate Kuno.
Also,
Sorry for any Kuno lovers.
the Kuno contingency.
The Kuno Coalition.
That's
Yeah.
right. So my first time, I spent, but my first time kind of was reflected in my second time with speaking with Kuno the first day. In it's like I tried to relate to him, but he's not having any of it, and definitely agreed to help get him drugs. Didn't give him the drugs,
Right.
but wanted to pursue that to get like kind of an in. But so for the first day, it was just getting shit at.
yeah.
Verbally, and like, well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
After he murdered me with his words, I gave Kuno a wide berth. I was like, I don't know what kind of weak constitution our protagonist has here that as an adult you can be insulted enough by a child that you will die. But
Actually die.
I've got to be careful.
I've felt that way sometimes.
That's real. I mean, have you seen it?
Kids
Part
are
2?
brutal.
It chapter 2. I mean, it's
Mhm.
true. You can just be bullied to death. It just happens.
It's a horror movie, Dory. You know I haven't.
Fair enough.
Also, it's
Fine.
a movie, Dory. You know.
But yeah, I like Kuno a lot. I mean, I obviously he's a shit. But if you do get to know him, and obviously that's very difficult. He doesn't let people in very easily. But I have found it very rewarding to get to know him. I had a this is later, but when I beat the game, I went back and I did some things differently, and then I got a very surprising different. I don't know if anybody else got that. We'll talk about it later, but I got a very different ending towards the end, and it was really great and really made me appreciate Kuno.
Involving Kuno and the lack of someone else.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get that experience, but I heard about that
I heard
possibility.
about
I
it.
had never gotten it before, and so it was a completely new, different ending for me, which was so cool. And it was so cool to have that final conversation with Kuno there. It's
Why
so
him? Why is he the stand-in? We'll get into it later, but that makes no fucking sense to me.
Kuno
We'll
just
get
thinks.
there.
Well, for me, in my one, he thought I was a badass, and we had developed a relationship. So in my thing, it made sense. But yeah, in other ones, it might not make any sense.
Yeah.
No.
It would have
I was
made
always
no
like,
sense.
fuck you, Kuno. You're a little bitch. And then I'd walk away.
He responds to that.
He
liked
respond to
it.
that, though.
Yep, he responds well to that.
Yeah.
That's what he's used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, on day one for me, I spoke a lot with Joyce. Got kind of the very first time I spent probably 2 actual real life hours just getting the breakdown on reality, which I love. This time I didn't spend as much time, but because part of it I already internalized a little bit of it in my own thought cabinet. But I tried to speak with her a little bit differently, and she's a really interesting character. I like Joyce.
Yeah, a lot more broad of a personality than like Everard or anyone from the Union would have you believe.
Yeah, she's like an aristocratic neoliberal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
like
odd.
her politics are objectively, at least to me, like fucking terrible. But I like her more than I like Everard, because at least Joyce is honest about her shittiness and about her terrible politics and her positions.
Mhm.
Everard's a fucking slime bag who
I
like
hate
touts
Everard.
himself
Mhm.
as like the leader of the workers, and he cares about people, and he
He's
wants
just a
everyone
big
to be
fat
better.
slug.
He's just an absolute asshole, and I hate him.
Yeah,
He
who killed me with a
sucks.
chair. But
Oh my god.
we'll get there tomorrow.
You died a lot.
Yeah, I died a lot. I had like 2 health and 1 morale for like 3 days of this game. It was
Oh my lord.
I was
I-
living on the edge.
Wow.
This playthrough, I only had 1 death, but Ryan knows what it is, and I'll talk about it a little later. It's intense. It's really intense.
It is
I don't
intense.
remember if I died at all. I think I died maybe a couple times, but pretty soon I built up a lot of morale and a lot of physical because I knew how this game worked, and so
Yeah.
I was like, y'all ain't fucking killing me this time.
I died because I kicked a lot of stuff.
I did
Yeah.
have a heart attack, but didn't die the first time because I kicked the mailbox.
It hurts.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
furnace
Series of
fucking
words.
hurts. The
Yeah.
tree hurts. It all hurts.
It all hurts. Yeah, I also kicked a lot of things. I wound up with like 5 physical health and 2 morale by the end of the game, so I was a little more survivable. But yeah, those first couple of days I was on a knife's
Still,
edge, just
somebody
ready to
insulting
die,
you really badly, Ryan, could just bring you to your knees.
just like real life.
Hard, man. People are mean.
So end of day 1, Kim
Yes.
helps you pay off your debt to Gart
I
by
know.
selling some rims that he confiscated to the pawn shop.
I did that day 3.
Really?
How did you get enough money on the first day?
I don't know. I can't remember my first time through. But wait. No, so my first playthrough, I managed to find a lot of money, I think because I explored the doomed commercial district.
I went in there on day 1 too.
And I think I found a lot of money that was just enough to cover the $20 for the first night. Like I think I passed a check that was like, I'll pay it off, but just give me some time, give me tonight.
Uh-huh.
And so he let me stay there. And then
Oh, nice.
eventually on this playthrough, I was like, all right, let's just take care of this. I don't want to worry about renting out anything anymore. And so then I did that with Kim. But the other time I managed to find money and kind of cover stuff.
Yeah, I did a lot of the gathering tear, recycling plastic bottles and glass
Same.
bottles. And I wound up with a thought cabinet bubble that was like gave me money for every green thing I clicked on. I don't remember which one that was called, but it gave me like 5
Oh,
or
I
10
didn't get that
cents.
until later.
I got
Is
that
it
on like day 2.
Hobocop? Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
Hobocop is for sleep, not having a place to live. That's right.
Yeah.
Can you sleep in the dumpster? I just
Yeah.
wanted to sleep in the dumpster.
Did
And it
anyone
wouldn't
do
let me.
Robocop?
No.
Yes, but it still didn't let me sleep in the dumpster, and I was
Oh.
fucking angry.
Well, however you gain access to that hotel room for the evening, Kim wants a little debrief for the day, go over how your first day went together. And the thing that made me laugh was like, as soon as you get out there, he immediately is like, why the fuck do you run so much?
It's such a good little nod at the developers, like kind
video
of winking
game.
at themselves or winking at the player.
Mhm.
Like, you're always in such a rush. Why are you always running? And that actually gets a really satisfying payoff at the
Mhm.
end of the game, which I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
I didn't either,
Wait,
but I love how
what are you referring to?
What
You're
Harry's previous job was before he.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yes, that's right. Well, it's called the Jamrock Shuffle. It's like something that the precinct is famous for.
Well, that's-
Everybody
Yeah.
runs around in that
That's
precinct.
true too.
that's one of the responses you can give, which is
Well, I thought Kimmy brought it up.
no. He just asked why you run so damn much, and one of the responses you can give is it's the Jamrock Shuffle.
Oh, interesting. For me, he didn't bring it up then. He brought it up later.
Oh, okay.
How about how like in the precinct is because I was asking him, I was like, what's so wrong with like the place that I came from, blah blah blah, and he's like, they just run around all the time. They're a bunch of misfits and weirdos, that sort of thing.
See, like when we got talking about our precinct later, he talked about how respected we were with our captain. I don't remember the captain's
Right.
name, but
Yeah.
I don't remember ever hearing about like we were a bunch of misfits. That
Yeah,
one.
it was like the captain is great, but everybody else is kind of all over the board. Is
Interesting.
the vibe I got from talking to Kim.
Now I'm just remembering Harry's partner, well, his other partner, and how much I hate him.
Yeah, that guy.
God.
What a
I
shit
hope
show that
guy
phone call
takes a
was.
Sunglasses
long walk
guy?
off yes.
Mhm.
I hope
With
that
the
guy
wig?
takes a long walk off a short pier. That's all I'm saying.
He's a jerk.
Fucking hate that guy.
He's mean.
Look, I get why people don't like Harry, but good lord, fucking
Like,
lay off
chill.
him. Like, lay off him. Like, you're not helping him grow better by fucking mercilessly tearing him down.
No, not at all.
Anyway, we'll talk about him later.
We'll get there.
Fucking hate him.
But after a debrief, we head to bed. Did everyone just sleep the night away, or did you let Kim go to sleep and then go out for evening hijinks?
I didn't do that at all, ever.
Yeah.
Kim is always there. I'm not doing it.
I went to bed. The only time, and we'll talk about this, but when I finally got that body down, I did go for some after night, some night hijinks because I wanted those boots,
Boots.
and I knew the boots with the fur,
Mhm.
and
Apple bottom jeans.
those apple bottom
Yeah.
jeans,
Uh-huh.
which you can get in the deluxe edition of Disco Elysium.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah. So that was the only time I went behind Kim's back, and even then, he found out like next morning what I had
Does
done.
he?
And I felt like shit about it because I didn't want to go behind his back, but I was like, dude, we're gonna need these. I know what's gonna happen in the future. Don't ask me why, but like, we're gonna need these.
Yeah, well, when you wear the boots, of course he's gonna find out.
Well, that too, but don't.
We don't talk about that.
I never went out behind his back, but after the first night, I was extremely tempted to never fucking sleep because those dream sequences are too goddamn real.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
too much.
I forgot to because I wanted to go speak with our other tenant at the hotel later on, but I completely spaced it.
It's fair.
When it came time.
Yeah, so as you go to sleep every night, just like in the very beginning of this game where your limbic system and your reptilian brain are talking with each other, you go through dream sequences of these conversations, and they are just so goddamn heavy and well
they're
written.
Beautiful.
Yeah. They're just incredibly disco.
I have some screenshots that I took of it, but there's one in particular that meant a lot to me and part of why I love it so much. But there's a conversation you're having, and then like rhetoric and perception kind of interject, and so it's talking about like, why should we even be around people? Like, why should we continue to live? Like, what's the point of being alive? And then the ancient reptilian brains saying, sure, you do. They're also friendly, aren't they? And then rhetoric comes in. At least they're interesting. Each one has a process just like yours, running in the space between their ears, full of secrets. And the perception chimes in. People are beautiful, statuesque, parodies and tragedies of themselves, a great democracy of creatures. And to me, that is like totally encapsulates this game.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's fantastic. And
Yeah.
like echoes a lot of how I feel about people.
I really like these dream sequences. They hit me really hard. They're probably some of the hardest hits in the game, I would say. I was hit harder in a couple, even already having played this game, there were a couple of spots that I still got hit hard. A dream sequence way later on, a payphone.
Yeah.
Don't ever pick up a payphone, y'all.
I didn't, thank goodness.
Oh my
You
God,
didn't?
Ryan.
I don't think so.
Oof.
What's the payphone have to do with the case? I'm Dick Mullen over here.
That's true. Maybe
Harry
the murderer used it to call
My
in.
Harry was someone who drowned himself in his. Definitely not realistic to myself at all. Absolutely drowns himself in like his mistakes and his regrets, and does not hide from it at all. But like maybe like just does too much of not hiding from it or something like that. Like just dives deep in there till it hurts.
I just wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I guess my Harry, not that he's afraid of what he's done, not that he regrets, but that he realizes it's time to move forward.
Oh yeah, way better choice than me.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for my day one.
Yeah.
All right, and then day 2 begins, and I imagine as we get further in these days, the paths we all took are going to branch even further and further. The big points for me on day 2 were meeting Everart, meeting
Yep.
Joyce, getting into a particular lorry.
Getting
Oh, you did
into
the
one?
Lori side quest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one with the
Wow,
Disney
you got
dragon.
in that quick.
Oh yeah, I convinced
Oh.
Mr. Poetry lorry driver there you can talk to like
Oh, I love him.
yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, he's nice.
I made him
You
turn
son
on his
of a
best
bitch.
friend and give me the key.
You son of a bitch.
I talked to
You
the other
turned him into
guy.
a rat.
I
But-
didn't want to be mean to him. He was
Well,
really nice.
I didn't want to be mean to him. I also didn't really like that side quest. I had a real moral dilemma with some of the side quests of like, these side quests really teach, like a lot of like CRPGs and RPGs in general try to like tease out your moral intuitions about conundrums and stuff like that, ethical
Mhm.
issues, and like Disco Elysium is definitely up there for me in doing that. With the stuff you can do for Everard or the stuff you can do for Joyce. And it's always really clever because they always give you ways to like get around it or to do it but not really do it.
They
or
give
to,
you
like-
just enough rope to hang yourself.
Mhm.
Yes. So
Yep. But I went to Everard first. I got a key card from my first adventure into the shipyard the night prior after getting my coat. And was able to sneak in no problem. Got into his office and sat on a very rickety chair and proceeded to die. On this chair.
I love that so much. He almost
Oh.
killed me, but I had brought plenty of prescription pills, not drugs, of course, prescription pills.
Uh-huh.
Very different.
Mhm.
In order to get through that experience.
Yeah.
I just didn't sit down.
You were able to pass that check?
Yeah, I didn't sit down.
Nice.
I could not
Very
pass that
nice.
check.
Absolute legend.
Was
Love
it
to see
hard? I don't remember. And
Yeah.
he just kept asking.
Yeah.
He's like, "Please sit." And I was like, "No."
You can just stand off and then like
Weird, yeah.
you if you fell you have to sit down.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what
I'd be
happened to
so
me.
mad.
I
I was like, "No."
think
I
that's what
loved
happened
it.
to me too.
I loved
Yeah,
it
Jack
so
and I were
much.
forced to sit down.
That's crazy.
Yep.
No, I didn't sit down ever.
That's badass.
In
I
this
love
game
it.
at all.
Oh man.
Harry never sits.
I
It
sat
just
and
doesn't
died.
sit.
Sitting kills.
Wow, that's why I don't do it. You guys
Yeah.
are worried about drugs. Have you thought about sitting?
I hear it's bad for your health.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about
Sitting is terrible. We're all
Yeah.
doing it now.
Right
No
now.
one's,
Oh.
no one's gonna address it.
Oh,
the sitting elephant in the room?
And
Mhm.
Evrart is the leader of the Union. He's the one, fighting with Wild Pines about trying to get. Well, in our real world, strikes are usually about better working conditions, more pay, more benefits, whatever various things the union's trying to get for their employees.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this one, it's trying to get every member of the union a seat on the board. That's what
Every
they're.
single one, all 5,000 of them,
Mhm.
or whatever it was.
That's what they're fighting for.
Every
here.
member a seat on the board.
A seat on the board. Yep.
And so I remember one of two things Evrart has. So Evrart has done his research about you. He knows that you have lost your badge and your firearm, and is like willing to help if you help him. I remember he wants to get some signatures. Is that the only thing, or is there one other like shady thing he wants?
You to
There's
knock on
another-
Weasel's door,
Yeah.
That's right.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's right.
and that's the fucking fascist who's a racist. Also,
Really? Wait, can you
Yeah.
ever get in there?
yeah, I got
You can
it
go in.
before. The yellow mug is what is his.
Oh, I see. I waited until way later because I didn't want to help Everett. Also, I lied. I got the body down on the second day. I also talked to Everett on the second day. I'm a huge fucking liar. I'm so sorry.
I
The
can't
first
believe
day
it.
was just very
Podcast's
long.
over.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm walking away right now.
Sorry, guys. I'm actually leaving now. I'm outraged. I'm about to stand up. I can't believe this.
That's right.
Uh,
I've learned not to sit down. I won't
kills.
stand for this, but I definitely won't sit down either.
I
won't stand for this.
I hated that I did it,
Like-
but I wound up unlocking that door because I didn't see another way to like
yeah.
get information. I was feeling a little lost at this point, and I was like, well, this is my one freaking lead. I guess I've got to like
Gotta pursue it. yeah.
fall into this trap a little bit, but I forged one of the signatures, so I
You can forge a signature?
helped him. Yeah, when you've got enough motorics, hand-eye coordination.
So you gave him the paperwork back.
Oh no, you forge the signature and drop it in, but according to
That's what I'm saying. You gave him back the paperwork.
yeah, essentially.
I didn't.
But
I mailed
I
it.
fucking refused.
so
You
no,
mailed it.
according
Mail it.
according to what the game told you, if you forge the signature, it doesn't actually help him in the long run.
Well, no,
after the
I
conclusion.
I got the signatures and then got rid of the letter.
Oh.
I was like, no, fuck this guy. Fuck
Yeah.
Everard. I don't care. It's not worth it.
I mailed it in, and I didn't even end up getting my gun.
I forged it, and then I mailed it, and I knew Everard wasn't going to win in the long run, so I was like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Yeah.
I didn't
just
even get my
couldn't do it.
fucking gun.
No, that's fair, Rob. I mean,
It got too late.
fuck
The
Everard.
gun is the most involved side quest. Probably one of the most involved side quests of the whole game is getting your gun. It almost necessarily takes days to do it.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
Yeah.
I would have finished the game a day sooner if I didn't go to get the gun.
Yeah,
That's what I did. I would have finished on 7 had I gotten my gun.
I would have
Yeah.
finised on.
I didn't
5,
get my
6,
gun the
6.
first time, but when I went back on the same file, but a little bit earlier in the run, I did get my gun.
So I never even finished that aspect. I was like, I'll just deal with it as it comes. Where is your gun?
So, oh boy.
Some
This
lady.
is later. I don't know how we want to approach this, but this is kind of like later. But yeah, basically, someone has your gun in the fishing market district, and Everett uses his connections to bring her out of hiding.
Had we met her before?
Oh.
No. She's a
Okay, I never
completely,
got to meet
new
her.
Character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had sold it to the pawn shop,
Mhm.
Right.
And then a lady who needs more attention in her life in multiple ways. It's a little sad, more than a little sad, honestly. But
Yeah, it's very sad.
winds up getting a hold of it, and Everard, if you help him enough, tells you how to locate this person in the fishing village. And
There is actually, I was able to get the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys?
that's it.
Yep.
Yes. I
Titus
was like, am
Hardy.
I confusing that with the?
No, that's
with
part of
series?
the joke.
That's
Yeah.
part of the joke. Yeah, I was able to get them to promise me that they would help her and find her help and like,
Oh.
support her.
Yeah, I was as well. They're like, we she's got a son that lives out this way. We know how to get in touch with him. We'll make sure that
That made me feel a lot better about the side mission.
the whole situation. Yeah.
Awesome.
I need to go back and actually meet her. I
yeah.
just missed the appointment with
That's
her.
okay.
on
That's
the
fine.
Pier.
I read a book until this time.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I wound up doing. So I've said a few times now, like the day that I met the cryptozoologist, that night I was going to Ruby. Well, the first time I went to Ruby, I didn't have my gun, and I was able to get through that.
The first night?
No, the fourth night, but the night of the first meeting with the cryptozoologist,
Oh.
which was like the fourth
I see.
day.
I was like, you couldn't even get over there on the first night. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Found a way.
You can't get there until the 3rd day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Where was I? So I'd done the Ruby thing, and then things happen after the meeting with Ruby, and I had immediately gone back to the hotel to sleep because it was like 9-10 at night as I met Ruby, and then those things happened, and I was very displeased with how they happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want my gun, so I reverted a save.
Yeah.
Went and got the gun, and then immediately the next day went to Ruby, came back, did that, and was further on. But that's a couple days away still. Yeah, my second day was filled with a lot of what Rob's first day was on his first playthrough, which was talking a lot to Joyce, getting a deeper understanding of the broader world around us, talking to Everard, understanding some of the larger people in play. That was what my second day was filled with.
Yeah, I don't remember a ton of specifics about my second day. I know it was probably more talking to Joyce, probably trying to figure out the Dune commercial district a little bit, more with the trying to set up like side quests with Joyce and Everard, deciding which one I wanted to do and why and that stuff. Let's see, probably a little bit more stuff with Kuno. Yeah.
More like
oh,
Bruno. I hate him.
I think I met the dice maker on like the second day.
I don't think I've
I
met this
met her-
dice maker.
I met her on the first.
Oh,
I met her. Yeah, you can meet her like really early on. But
Uh-huh.
that was the earliest I'd ever met her.
I
and she's so
explored all
sweet.
over the commercial. Yeah, she's really nice,
I
actually.
love her.
Yeah.
She's in the Doomed commercial area upstairs.
Okay.
She's
Above the
tucked
furnace,
behind-
essentially.
yeah. There's a spot in particular you can find. So my second day was also primarily Doom Commercial District, and Everett. But so yeah, when you get up there, if your perception's high enough, or like you have your flashlight and you go in a corner, you can see a little alcove that's kind of tucked away, and you can go through, and then she's like hidden behind there.
Okay. Yeah, I dabbled with the Doomed commercial area. I think that was on my... No, that had to be day 2 because the third day was just exploring across the other area. I guess my perception wasn't high enough, or I just missed going into that corner deep enough. But I nearly broke my leg kicking that door down in the bookstore.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I passed it, but like the
You
area.
kicked it down?
Yeah, or tackled it down, however
Whoa.
that went. Yeah.
Did the little wards not scare you?
with the fucking bookshop owner who I
Uh-huh.
also hate. God, she's terrible.
She's
What is her name?
Plaisance.
Plaisance.
Yeah. No, the wards didn't scare me at all. At this point, I understood that there were like magics in the world of some sort, but
Mhm.
I was not necessarily under the impression of exactly how present and real they were.
Mm.
So seeing them didn't trigger a really strong reaction out of me at this point in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I love the whole side quest with Plaisance and getting in and just
Mhm.
becoming like a paranormal detective.
Yeah.
Like pretending to be a paranormal detective to gain entry.
Same.
It's incredible writing. Just the way they utilize the drama skill, and
Yeah, I
like,
played super high drama.
awesome. That's
if you
awesome.
Can't tell.
I'm here for it. It's really good because that's basically like your charisma or deception, and a lot of other analogs. But it, like conversing with her and just like, I'm an expert in my field, and I'm here to investigate this curse. That's why I'm in this
I
area.
will help you. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want your business to fail? No? I'm an expert. Let me in. Let me go touch that ice bear.
Let me in.
I'll help. Let me in. Eric Andre. Speaking of ice bear, when you guys got the body down, did you have to do anything with the ice bear?
I did my first playthrough. I wasn't able to get the body down early enough to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had never done that before, but yeah, I actually got to do it, and I wasn't sure what the purpose was. I think I actually had to look up, like, what is the purpose of putting the body in there? I
Took
figured
it
out.
cold.
But right, but there's also like certain extra things that you can find on the body, especially if you.
Did you not do that?
Inland, I did, yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
able to. So the first time I was able to do that on accident, I stumbled into it,
Mhm.
or I think I passed the right check because I got the body down early because of the shot, and then I discovered the fridge. And for those who don't know, like, so in the basement of the Doom Commercial District, there is a massive like ice cream
Huge.
bear thing, which is, I love the whole conversation narration that's there about like, who the fuck wants to buy ice cream from a menacing bear?
Giant polar bear with red
It's so
glowing
good.
eyes. It's scary looking.
Yeah,
It's great.
I
I would buy ice cream from that bear.
I would absolutely same. Yeah.
I didn't get the chance, so I got that body down first day. We did the field
Ship it off.
autopsy, and it immediately got shipped off. I found
Yeah.
that the next day, and I was like,
Oh.
well, I guess this is where I could have put the body, because I remember seeing somewhere like find a
Right.
fridge for it or whatever. But I'm like, but it's already gone. So
Right.
So did you know anything about a bullet in regard to the body?
not
So,
until I
yeah.
talked to
Yeah.
Klasia.
So yeah,
Ah.
that's where the first day I passed that autopsy because I had preserved it and was able to get the stuff for it to help me succeed, and
Yep.
discovered so I mean, this is a spoiler cast. So what happened is the hanging was a cover up.
Mhm.
And you discover that when you like, if you by happen to pass the autopsy, you discover it was a cover-up because there's a bullet in his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And they hung him to kind of cover it up, and that's such a cool way to discover what's happening in this world.
By
And with,
fingering his mouth.
yeah, but you could completely miss it
Mhm.
and fail your way out of discovering it this way.
crazy.
Yeah. I had no idea until I guess that's the other thing I did on day 2 after talking to Everart and Joyce was I talked to the Hardy Boys. And
Mhm.
and the sweet gardener who was actually the lawyer for for the union.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
a twist!
She was sitting in a perfect spot to watch all your movements that first. What?
Mhm.
And you know, they long conversation with them. I grew to love the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why when I went and did a thing where I didn't have my gun, I was like, well, I have to come back and do this with my gun because, well, it's a spoiler cast. Basically, all the Hardy Boys died. And I was like, I hate this outcome.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the best outcome for that is that only a couple die, I think. And I think for me that's brutally realistic. But yeah, we'll get to it.
yeah, we will get to that because I have thoughts on that. And
I know.
they're conflicting, but it's I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So the Hardy Boy conversation leads you to meet with and talk with Klasia, who is the girl you met on the first day, who was smoking a cigarette up inside the building. Kind of like gives you the first rundown of your police officer here to investigate a murder. Klasia is a dancer, singer, entertainer.
It's like Miss Saranya disco dancer.
Yeah. And has been very popular at the bar and hotel here. She's been staying, and the Hardy Boys tell you that they all equally hung this body,
Which is a very good anti-arrest tactic that
Mhm.
protesters sometimes do. Is they all take equal responsibility. That way, no one gets singled out and no one gets the harsher punishment.
But I don't know if anyone else did this. I had denoted that there was another set of footprints beyond just the all the Hardy Boys footprints back there. So I was drilling them, trying to find that out. Eventually, I got Titus to admit about we will come to know as Ruby and Klasia. The longer bit of that, and then we go upstairs.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Don't you mean Titus? Obviously, it's Titus, not Titus.
How do I disconnect Dory?
God.
We go up and talk to Klasia, and we notice that one of her windows is very new, extremely new. And eventually, through much coercing, find out that our dead man was shot and then hung.
Mid-coitus.
Mid-coitus. That is one of the more brutal descriptions. Is it? No, I think maybe it's talked about later in the game when the murderer talks about doing it while he was still inside her. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is... No punches pulled.
Intense.
No punches pulled.
Yeah, there's and I just posted in this the channel, but there's when you're doing like a breakdown, if you do the forensics of the crime scene of the shot.
I love those forensic shots, by the way. They're
they're really nice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The composition there, like I had to stop for a moment and just sit and appreciate every little bit that's going on in that image. That is like the design, the film reel text crawl on the side, and then like, you know, the iconography with each of your emotions and skills, the opaque image of a guy having sex with the bullets, the strings, like the bullet threads leading directly into his neck, like every part in composition with like the map with like A prime, B double prime, everything about it is spectacular.
Yeah, 100%. It is.
And I loved looking at this game constantly.
Amazing table setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my day 2, was I guess finding out a little bit more about this murder, meeting bigger players in the world. I guess starting to help Evrart because I saw no other path for me forward in that hunt. Anyone else have anything interesting for day 2?
You guys were able to get up into her room on day 2?
I believe so. Maybe that was day 3.
It was day 3 for me for sure.
Yeah, I think that was day 3 for me as well.
I want to say it was day 2 because I'm 80% positive day 3 was spent almost entirely exploring the fishing village, going into the church, talking to the kids outside the church, and just exploring that area.
That was my day 3 was church. It was like the church the whole day.
I was day 2, and I know this because at that screenshot I can see 23:58. It was just before midnight. I got in there.
I don't remember. How do you get in there?
I can't remember. I think I talked with Titus, passed the check, and then got to uncover that it was Claudia involved.
That's right.
And then
talk to Titus.
And it leads you to go up there, and because he alludes to like, yeah, I had sex with her, we all did, kind of a thing. And so you go up and talk to her about to get more, skinny on the dirt, and kind of have a long conversation about everything. And
I will say the discussions with Glacia, and this is definitely not a hot take, are some of the best in the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean,
really?
Yeah. It's a great conversation.
I didn't like Glacia.
I think she's such an interesting character. There's a lot of facets to her past and what's going on, her emotions towards the person who was killed, towards the killer, towards the Hardy Boys, towards herself, towards where she's from. And I mean, the conversations even break the meta of the whole game up until this point, because your brain eventually has this oh shit moment where it's like she's been fucking with us the whole time emotionally.
I thought that was interesting. I just don't like her as a character. I think she's selfish and cowardly. Yeah,
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, I viewed her as someone that was in a position that like had made bad decisions, and then they kind of snowballed into worse and worse consequences and trying to live with them. And while still like meeting this person and then kind of falling for them, as shitty a human being as he is, and still seeing value in that relationship.
That guy sucked.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He was the worst.
He's a fucking terrible human being.
Yeah.
But there is something that it like, despite that, there is something of value. Like there's a kinship that she had with him that I thought was really interesting.
They were both really fucked up and not great human beings, and they found something in each other that is better than both of them. And like that doesn't make them cool or good.
Yeah, it doesn't make them good people by any means.
It doesn't make them good people, but it makes it, for me, it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just gave me the vibes of like almost a high schooler girl was like, I want a bad boy. Ooh, you know what? It came off as super fucking immature, like selfish, like just really naive. She came off as extremely naive, and I just fucking hated her, dude.
I think she is incredibly intelligent. She outmaneuvers just about everybody. She gets protected very easily. I mean, you almost don't even discover
she's manipulative.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like her bringing destruction upon others, it's a lot of naivety and like selfishness. She doesn't seem to really care. She just runs away.
And I think that's an interesting character.
She's an interesting character. I think it's great that they've made me dislike a character so much.
Yeah.
That's obviously great character writing.
Yeah, like I think it's very compelling that all of this happened, like how all this transpired because of these things. And
it's like the movie Nightcrawler, the main character there. Fucking hate that guy. That is excellent writing because that guy sucks. He is the worst.
I would say that about that. I'd say that about Breaking Bad. I would say that to a certain extent with Game of Thrones. Yeah, there's a talent in making you hate certain characters but still keep playing because you want to know what they're going to say or what's.
It's incredibly it's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah, Claudia to me feels like someone who got caught in the machine and can't figure their own way out. Whatever that machine is, she got roped into being a corporate espionage agent,
Yeah, that stuff's super interesting.
And that just threw her life into a spiral that she does not know how to undo, and now she's just living with the consequences of that decision from her past. And it's not a good thing, but it is what it is, and that is so real, you know.
Yeah.
That no matter, like, it's impossible to exactly. It feels so real that I can commiserate even if I don't love her.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's day 2.
That's probably day 2.
Yeah, I'd say that's day 2. Oh.
Well, so I breaking down more of the, because I tore down all of Doom Commercial District. Like I spent most of my day in there. And so did y'all find? Y'all found the blackboard or the chalkboard with the RPG that they were making? Yeah. I love that. There's seeing what caused that business to fail. And there's a fun thing with empathy where when you're looking at it, where it says everyone is constantly teetering on the edge of an abyss of production. These squares look orderly, but beneath them is chaos, worry, pain. And then you keep reading, and as time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes empty, snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region. And that hit me because there's something to like the ambition and aspiration in trying to create something that, and this is like anyone that's a creator of any kind, you struggle with this. Like you have this drive and ambition of what it could be and its potential, and then something like feature creep happens, and game development or just production schedules not lining up, and everyone's there kind of holding hands sometimes, trying to just not fall in, and seeing the artifacts of a failed business like this rings pretty hard, and it's really well written.
And I mean, like, that is the stuff, like, to me that's resonating with like 10-minute conversation about the engine in Kim's motor car, where in other games that side stuff would get a paragraph or two and be like, oh cool, world building, but here it's a 20-minute deep dive into exactly how not only this game world works, but it mirrors so well how the real world works. And it's not just this passing thing of, oh, there was a business here. It's like, oh no, there was this business, dozens of people were employed here, there were months of maybe this is going to work, we want this to it fleshes everything out, not just the main points that the story's trying to hit.
I think that's why this game is so believable and really draws you in, is because they don't just touch on things, right? When two people are having an in-depth conversation about, oh, like, tell me about like your car, like this is something I'm actually interested in, and the guy is obviously very excited to talk about his car, like it's going to be a super in-depth long conversation. I think a lot of games don't take the time to develop that and really address that appropriately to mirror a real life conversation.
Yeah, because it's like it's an incredible choose your own adventure novel brought to life, that rewards you constantly for pulling at threads, which
curiosity.
Is so, and it's so incredibly difficult to even comprehend like how to do that. And I mean, you can tell we're gushing about this game, but I love how that constantly pays off.
Wait a second. All of us love this game?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird. I
What?
pick that up.
And I mean,
that's my day too.
All right, and every day has more of these threads to pull. In day 3, the land bridge, whatever it's called, closes again. They get it repaired, and then we can travel to the fishing village and the other half of this area of Revachol that we have not been able to visit up to this point because it's kind of been blocked off. And day 3, I spent basically all my time over here. I maybe went back to the pawn shop a time or two for something, but I really was this side of the bridge all of day 3. I went north and talked to the kids camping out outside the church. I met the cryptozoologist that day. Yeah. I would go on to meet Ruby, but then revert my save and actually meet her at the beginning of day 4, for reasons.
I think we had the same reason there.
Maybe.
But I didn't revert it. I just let it happen.
I wasn't upset with the Ruby thing. It was the thing that comes after the Ruby thing that I was upset with, and was.
We'll talk about it.
Well, yeah, yep, we'll get there.
I'm curious.
We will get there, because I do plan on talking about how my first experience in day 3 went, and how the rest of it went. But yeah, I met the older lady in town who will offer you a room. Did anyone take her up on that offer?
I did.
Okay. Did you go searching in, Rob?
Yep.
So you found the bullet hidden under the floor.
Yep.
Oh wait, I went in the room eventually, but I didn't sleep there.
Oh, I never slept there either.
I stayed there after meeting Ruby.
I was able to save a ton of money. I saved 10% on my car insurance by switching to this room.
To Geico? Wow.
Save me 15% or more on my car insurance. No. Yeah, this is the best hack in the whole game. It's not even a hack, right? But on day 3, like, you just get offered this room by this nice old lady. And yeah, that's where I did the shaving. That's where that happened. Absolute mistake, but I mean, I do it every time, because I'm like, I feel like inward change has to be reflected outwardly. So I'm just like, I'm gonna shave that. If I get rid of the expression, I would have, but I couldn't. So
see,
he looks better with the.
I know it hides his face, and honestly, for better or worse, that's
it needs to be hidden.
I like the shaved look.
Really?
I like shaved Harry.
He looks like a naked mole rat.
As someone that is very partial to facial hair, I preferred the mutton chops being on, but similar. But yeah, but similar to what to echo what Dory had said, there is something about, like, there's a psychological component that comes to committing to a decision like that to impact change upon yourself, to reflect that, like, symbolize the change for yourself. And I use that as an opportunity for Harry to commit to, like, going sober and moving forward and, like, trying to solve this case. But I also got to correct myself. It wasn't the night I met Ruby. It was day 3 that night I stayed there, and then day 4 after I'd met Ruby. But you can't sleep there because Kim's like, no, we got to go. Anyway, yeah, and spending the time, I managed to fix the expression that he has, and yeah, he's just so sad.
Yeah, I never fixed the expression, so he still had that smile with the shave for me, and
he looks so sad.
I just Googled a picture of shaved Harry to refresh my mind, make sure I agree with it, and it was with sad expression, and that is terrible.
Yeah, that's what I had.
That is,
it's really bad.
So depressing.
It's very bad.
I think,
but it's the first step.
There.
Yeah,
but there's a realness there that I really appreciate and really respect, and I think if I totally respect keeping the bearded look, keeping the expression. I respect that, but for me, it's like there's a realness in letting Harry feel how he actually feels and look how he, and start over. I mean, if he wants to grow a beard again, I'm not. It's not like I'm against him having a beard, but it's just like, all right, like let's start this all over again, and then if we want a beard, we'll get a beard, and
let's look at ourselves anew.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a physical representation of turning a page.
Absolutely,
for sure. I will say on day 3, this is the day I went to the payphone. Don't ever go to the fucking payphone in this game. It's a mistake. It's a trap. I knew what I was doing, and I still did it. And I hate myself, a lot.
Can't resist, Harry.
If people don't know, Harry's very sad. He's a very sad man because the love of his life divorced him. 3.
They weren't even married.
Good. Yeah, they weren't even married. They were like, I think they were about to.
They're engaged.
They were engaged. Thank you. That's why I got confused. And so basically he's divorced, sad man, sad dad vibes.
It was so long ago.
It was like what
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. No.
Harry, come on, man. Do more
Well-
drugs or something. Figure it the fuck out. No.
Not
That's
go to
enough.
therapy. More drugs.
That's enough.
That is therapy,
yeah,
right?
Take a bunch of drugs, Harry. Come on.
Sure. It
Well,
was working for him.
so that's the thing. That's part of what I like is before getting onto the resolution of that phone call is why he is so sad is the dude worked himself to death. He's like, so I unlocked early on Super Cop as an option. And because Harry is a fucking incredible police officer
Human can
and
opener.
has solved so many cases that has come at a huge cost. And there's an incredible line that you get where of narration where it's you can't even begin to imagine the psychic and psychological ramifications of being the person that constantly daily meets people on the worst day of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I just checked. It was 6 years.
6 years. Okay. But
Come on,
anyway, just the amount of trauma that he has that he doesn't ever deal with. And
Yeah.
like, that's
I don't
a
think
loss
it's
of a
just-
relationship.
Yeah, I don't think it's just his ex-wife. I mean, that's obviously a huge component of it. But it's definitely working himself to death, seeing so much violence, so much trauma, not dealing with it, being an alcoholic. Yeah, dude needs therapy. Like
I think he was prone to
yesterday.
sadness anyway.
Yeah.
She said the reason that she left was because of his inability to talk like a normal person, and also his spells of sadness. It was too
Mhm.
much.
Yeah,
6
and
years.
yeah, but that like it makes sense when he never deals with anything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's never dealt with anything in his life, and so it just continues forward and forward and forward, like just like a bull charging at a series, like a hallway of red capes. That like that stuff has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that stuff, and so it finds ways to manifest and haunt you
Until
and-
eventually it just becomes a rigid smile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shit.
But anyway,
I wish
on
I
the
did have
payphone.
this phone call.
Yeah. So the payphone. So when you go up to the payphone, there's a list of numbers you can call.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple normal places you can call, and then there's a phone number. There's a check for remembering a phone number.
It's a long distance number.
The long distance number.
Do you want to know it?
Yeah.
The
Like-
number?
867-5309.
Sure, go for it.
It is 001414447111736145167451451451.
It's absolutely like the longest string of
Long
numbers.
distance. Long.
Yeah, long distance. And so you get
I googled it.
Eventually you call and this woman's voice picks up, and I mean, I don't know who this voice actress is, but please don't ever put her on anything else again. Like, her voice alone just broke my heart hearing
It's
it again,
like
especially
sucker
here.
punch.
But even the first time I played this game, like I knew I had fucked up when I heard her voice. Like the way she answers the phone, the way the conversation keeps creeping along, I was like, I have done fucked up. Like I have made an error today.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's basically Harry's ex, and she's like, why are you calling, and like what's going on, and like Harry, you can have Harry say various things like, oh, I'm on the case, I'm solving a case, and she's like, yeah, you're always solving a case, what else is new? And he's like, but I'm really close to solving it, and this is the biggest one so far, and she's like, yeah, that's what you always say. So
And she's in bed with another man.
oh, is she? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, she is. Yep. Absolutely.
She's already moved on because it's been fucking like what was it?
6
8
years.
years? 6 years? Harry, move
Hey.
on.
That he can't. He does not know how to move on.
How do you
That's
think
his-
it's been that long?
That's his entire life, is not being able to move on.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
he moves forward, he doesn't move on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that's true.
I really wish I had done this phone call, because hearing this whole explanation,
You should look at the YouTube. It is
It's
literally
great.
like
It's
a
really good.
haunting, chilling.
It's a sucker
Yeah.
punch to the gut of your soul.
It's just like, and I had
It's
experienced it
awful.
before, and it still fucking destroyed me.
Secondhand cringe so hard. Figure it out, Harry.
I can understand and relate to that
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. That's what makes it hit so hard.
It is not at all a reach in any way, shape, or form to say that I have been in those shoes Harry's in.
6 years.
Yeah.
You got to move on, Stubbs.
I am now.
That's so unbelievable for me. 6 years.
I'm in a better place.
I believe it.
Literally years, multiple years of my life.
So look at it like this. There's an interesting thing of time dilation that occurs when your life consists solely of alcohol and drug abuse, that time ceases to exist in a linear fashion. It is simply something that transpires around your one timeline that is a constant state, that is the same state constantly. And so 6 years might as well be 10 years, might as well be a week.
Yep.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
And it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. But anyway, I had to talk about the payphone because it's
that's
really
great.
important scene.
Yeah,
And yeah, Ryan, I recommend you check it out, or I mean, play it again and live for yourself. But I don't know if I recommend that.
I will. That's something I'll live through. As someone who has lived through it, I think I can handle it. But that's amazing to hear. Not that it's like a gendered issue, but I do feel like a lot of men especially have a more difficult time expressing their emotions in times like that.
Yeah.
And it is.
Oh, I definitely think it's a gendered thing because men are generally told to not.
Societal expectation.
I think that's getting better over time, but I mean, I think generally there's still a lot of problems with men expressing themselves. Excuse me. That I don't think is necessarily applied for women, which sucks because it sucks for both of them. Because it ends up harming women, it ends up harming men, it ends up harming anybody really.
Yeah, just
it's not beneficial. There's literally no pros to not being able to discuss how you feel.
Yeah,
in a
it's
healthy
just
way.
it's pride. It's pride. It's the thing is what it is dealing with, contending with in this situation is it's the expectation that you're above being weighed down by your emotions. But the thing is, like, those emotions have weight anyway, and they will suffocate you. And
if you don't address it or
Exactly.
anything, you end up wallowing.
Right. And that's what Harry's life is.
Yeah.
Is
But
just
6 years?
yes.
Harry, 6 fucking years.
But that's the thing. The number is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The number is just an etch on a wall somewhere in his life. But
I'm
I'm
not afraid to say that was 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like literally, no problem saying that there were 4 years of my life. Oof. In very very similar fashion to Harry's 6 years.
Oh my god.
Because the days, like, there's a part where your days mean nothing.
Yeah.
And
every day is the same as the day
tackling it.
before and is going to be the same as the day after it.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in depressive episodes where I've felt similar. I mean, I haven't used alcohol or drugs to self-medicate on that level, but absolutely I've used other forms of self-medication. No, I totally get that. But I just want to say that just so I'm like, I didn't.
I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, and there's definitely been people in my life who I've wanted to make this call to, even years after the fact. There's still people I feel every once in a blue moon, I'll feel like a small urge, and then I'll be like, no, do not do that. Bad idea. Don't do that.
Yeah, our better devils.
Yeah.
That shit is such a passing thought for me.
Yeah.
At this point.
I think
Good.
that's where I'm at too.
That's healthy. That's the right attitude. But we're broken people.
Oh man.
It took years to get to the point where I can be okay with all that stuff.
Yeah, I completely relate. And that's part of why I was in tears when that phone call hit.
That would have put me in tears. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was in tears because it is such a raw and honest depiction of things that I have had happen to me in my life.
Yeah. I've never had it happen, but it is absolute emotional gut punch. It's probably the most I was affected the whole game in terms of emotions, because I got what Harry was doing, even though it was incredibly awful and not good and shouldn't have been done. But anyway, Disco Elysium, everybody, fun game, great game. Go play.
Great game.
Great
Very
game.
happy, goofy disco game.
Have drugs in
Insert
it.
GIF of Harry dancing.
No, it's great for that reason though. It's great because it's real.
Most definitely.
It
Most definitely.
does not pull its punches. It will absolutely uppercut you into the gut as hard as it possibly can at every opportunity. And those are the reasons that this is a great game. Not
Because it knows what it's like to be alive.
exactly, and it's not afraid to give that experience to you, whether it's the experience you've lived or the experience someone else has lived.
So how is everyone else's day 3? Obviously, this is the day you can get to the island. So what did everybody do besides maybe the payphone?
That's right. We're talking about day 3.
See, time's an illusion.
Yep. Go for it.
Church. I did a lot with the church.
Yeah.
And just a lot of exploring, really. But I think a good bit of my time was spent in the church.
So I was playing the PlayStation 5 version, and this is where I ran into my first set of bugs that really put me back.
Really?
Oh no!
Now I will say that this was a big port job, and I think by and large they did an incredible job. But
and has since fixed
and
it.
have since been fixed. I mean, they fixed almost all of the major issues within a week, maybe 2.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
Wait, what was the
honestly.
bug though?
So the bug was that when you went over to your car and you were waiting with Kim, it just wouldn't. You couldn't interact with it, and so you couldn't get your medal back. You couldn't get your jacket back or whatever. You couldn't, or not medal. You couldn't get your badge back. And so I couldn't do any of that, and it really sucked. And there was another bug that I couldn't get one of the armor pieces, so I had to wait a really long time to do that too. But yeah, it was awful, and it really sucked. I tried everything I could. I found a couple of tips online on Reddit about how to fix it, but yeah, I just had to wait a couple of days, a few days, maybe a week at most, probably less than that. And they had already fixed the bug by then, which was great. But yeah, this was the first day I really noticed, like, oh, there's like a couple of noticeable issues. Nothing game breaking, nothing like soft locking, but definitely stuff that will impede your progress with important items. I mean, the badge is pretty dang important.
I'd say that's close to game breaking.
Yeah.
That's a hard soft lock. A hard soft lock. That would have bummed me out for sure too. But like you said, it got fixed, but two, it's a tiny team.
Yeah. And it's a hard port job, and it's their first game too. I mean, I'm willing to be forgiving on this, especially because they fixed it
For sure.
so dang fast and listened to community feedback. But yeah, I know it wasn't easy porting it over to the PlayStation. And the reason I said Xbox is because I was thinking about the X button and how it used to be how you would have to double click everything with the X button to get anywhere. But they eventually fixed that out, patched that out, and so you only have to click X once, like you have to press on the mouse once on the PC. So yeah, I don't even know, what does everyone played on PC besides me, right?
It was on PC.
Yeah, PC.
Yeah. I did
Did you guys?
I did it for a review, so that makes sense.
That's right.
Did PC people have bugs?
I didn't have any.
You guys have?
I didn't really have. I don't remember any bugs first playthrough, and I don't recall. So I had a couple minor bugs. It was primarily like if I was zoomed in and tried to click on one of those little nodes of text, it would be off screen somewhere, and I'd only get like the last word, and I'd zoom out, and it'd still continue its placement at the edge of the screen. That was about it.
Oh, okay. I had that one. I couldn't fast travel. Did you guys know you can fast travel in this game?
Yes,
Nope.
I did. I had some difficulties with that as well,
It was
but
fucked
I was
up
able to make
for
it work
me.
every now and then.
I
It
just
was
never
super
did.
fucked up.
I didn't even know you could.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
explain
you
it
can't.
at
They
all.
don't really advertise it at all.
They don't.
but you can.
Zero.
I just liked walking around.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
liked walking around.
The map doesn't feel large enough to me that I would really need to utilize a fast travel.
What are you, Rob? Some kind of PE teacher? Come on.
Running around.
Hey, spoilers.
Shuffling. And then
Isn't Harry like the most PE teacher looking PE teacher ass person in the world, though.
Yeah.
Like as soon as that was said later in the game,
It's like,
I know
oh,
what you meant.
yeah, of
Like,
course.
it's so obvious in retrospect. He looks like a PE teacher that you would
Mhm.
have in high school.
Yeah, he has the okay. Were you a cop? No. Were you a PE teacher? Okay. Yep, that tracks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense. Makes sense.
I love Kim's reaction. He's like, "Oh my god, it makes so much sense now."
All the running around.
the running around.
Which mirrored my reaction exactly.
Yeah.
And in the commercial doomed area, when you have the opportunity to lift up the barbell, he's like, "This seems familiar to me."
Yep.
You know, Harry. He's like,
Mhm.
"Why is this look? Did I used to be like a weightlifter or something?"
Yeah.
And that was like a subtle nod to that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good, so good. What did everybody think about the church? I fucking love the church. I love
Church is so
all those
cool.
guys. Church is one of the best parts of the whole game. One of the best
Yes.
side quests.
I-
So good.
See, I had a very limited exposure in the church. I went in, I explored around a little bit. I had a moment looking up at Dolores.
Spider. Oh,
Did you see the
Dolores,
guy?
okay. The spider guy? Did you see the spider guy?
No, I didn't see the spider guy.
Oh.
They brought what's his name in from Dark Souls.
No.
Patches just hanging out.
They brought Patches in. Thank you, Rob. I couldn't remember
Yeah.
Patches.
That's why I said all those patches came in from the devs. You know.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
I
No, I
yeah,
missed
can't
that.
that's
believe.
great.
I just-
Ryan, you're fucking killing me, man.
I just had a moment of like spiritual awakening, looking at the Dolores Day, right? That was her name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The stained glass in that church.
You didn't even get to see the crab man.
God, you didn't even fucking see Crab Man. I
You
kept
didn't see
saying
the
spider, but-
silent circle.
and you didn't raise up the church and turn it into a rave club. Like,
No.
Yeah, you didn't even
I
turn
got-
into a
I
rave
got the
party.
I met the guys that were like, we want to turn this into a rave spot, but I didn't do that. No.
Oh,
Ryan, I am demanding at this point that you go back and play.
you
Disco
have to
Elysium.
replay
This is a threat,
the
my
church.
friend.
The church and like any storylines involved
At-
with the church are like some of the best parts. of the
At
game.
some point, I'm a busy man. I'm playing 5 games at a time right now.
I feel you. No, I feel you.
Fuck yo game.
Oh, but you
But,
got to,
yeah,
or at least like watch some games.
Oh no, I do want to. Like I said earlier, this is a game every year and a half I see myself doing another playthrough.
You get to see Kim dance.
That's
So-
If you're good enough. If you're good enough.
I didn't get the finalization of that quest. I got to see Crabman, but I spoke with the kids and I had them promised that they wouldn't cook drugs in the church, but could turn it into a club.
I did the same thing.
But I
So
did
much.
not see the culmination of that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
I got to the
good.
culmination of it. I busted a move so hard that Harry passed out.
Same.
I didn't die, but Harry did pass out and
Yeah.
had to be woken up by Kim, who was very worried about him.
But
I love Kim.
Did anybody not gain Kim's trust? Like, did anybody not get that? Well, I know on PS5 it's a trophy, but I think there's
it's an achievement.
an achievement. Yeah, I think there's an
Yeah.
achievement on Steam or wherever you played
Mhm.
it. So
yeah,
I
Kim
got
told me
presume
he
all of
loves
us
me the
got that.
most.
What's that?
He told me he loves me the most out of everybody on this podcast.
I believe it. You're the one not drowned down by 6 years of misery.
Yeah, that's true. That's fucking crazy. 6 years, 6 weeks, 6 days. Maybe I could see myself making that. 6 years? Harry, move or something. I don't know.
He did
Kim is here
move
for the
so did
passion.
she. Oh, that's the worst thing. But anyway, yeah, everybody probably got that achievement. But yeah, I was able to help them set up the rave. I was also able to help. I mean, who had a fucking existential crisis about that little tiny hole that was a gap in like the sky that the pale was coming through?
Yeah.
Did everybody look at that fucking side mission?
Oh, I missed
No.
that too.
What? Wait,
I
you
missed
can
that.
see it in the sky?
You can't see it in the sky, but
Oh,
basically
okay.
the church is built around this point
Yes.
where the pale is slightly coming through. There's
Mhm.
like this infinitesimal space in time where the pale is slowly like
Seeping in.
transgressing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that's what the sound was about.
and that's what the sound was. is
And
that
then the
pale
lack
is
of
coming
sound as
through.
well. It's
Yeah.
crazy. That shit was fucking wild. The church is so good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
church is
I
really
did not
good.
get
All the
that
side
part
missions
of it.
there are incredible and very well done. All the characters are great. Hardcore.
Hardcore. Medium core.
medium core.
All right, I just sent
I hate it.
the
I
video
hate
of
it.
him dancing.
Yes.
Kim. It's the most
I
important
love.
part of the
Okay,
game.
I did not play an authority cop at all because fuck that. But this was the one time I had Harry pull rank. I said, Kim, I am your commanding
Same.
officer.
Yeah.
You are going to get on the fucking
Fucking
dance floor.
get down, Kimmy.
Swear to God,
He's like,
Kim, I will
now
never
check this shit
command you
out.
to do anything else in your flipping life. Just dance. God damn it. And he did.
Oh my god,
That's
so good.
amazing.
Love
And then
it,
he
though.
sad I
starts
missed that.
dancing. He's so cute. Look at
He's busting
Yeah.
a move. He's like going like this and this.
him, bro. And honestly, Harry is fucking getting it.
Yeah.
Harry
There's
has
got
disco.
those fucking moves.
crazy
If you
moves.
pass
Disco
all those
is
checks,
disco.
Harry's a fucking beast. On the
Yeah.
dance floor.
Disco as hell. I mean,
Disco is hell. Absolutely.
And-
Yeah, so that's great. There's a lot of great quests that are inside of the church that are individual to each member of the rave group that are also incredible. And helping the lady with her tech stuff is really great too. That's the one with the tiny little infinitesimal hole that the church is in contact with. But anyway, yeah, the whole church thing is great. And then you also meet I don't remember her name, the boat lady we were talking about earlier.
Joyce. Oh,
no,
No.
the one that's got the two
the net
kids.
picker.
Net picker.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I forget her name.
Starts with an L, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't remember. Lillian. Lillian.
Lillian. Yeah,
Lillian.
she's lovely as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And her story about her husband is very sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yep.
Wait, did you do the giant blimp thing where you climb up on the statue?
No.
No.
What is that?
Did no one do that?
I don't know
Go
what that is.
on.
You climb on the statue with the horse and the guy. You
What?
climb up on top of that
Oh,
and
Beck.
send off radio signals to a giant blimp
Oh.
in the sky.
Didn't do
What?
that.
So they'll
I've
help
never heard about
you. All right, hold on.
How's the blimp gonna
I've
help
heard
us?
about this.
It's like the RCM. It's like another branch of the RCM
Oh,
or something.
gotcha.
And you you
Oh.
buzz up there and you're like, yo, shit's going kind of fucking south down here. There's about to be a lot of people dead. I'm on a horse, metal horse. Can we please?
Anybody?
Amazing.
They're like, no.
I need
Or
to
maybe
look up
yes.
of this. This sounds amazing. I've
All right,
never
yeah,
even heard of this.
let me do some Googling.
Okay. That was amazing.
Rob, how was your day 3?
So my day 3 was also a lot of the fishing village. Did not go on the date. So this was where I meet that elderly woman, and then I decided that I did not want to help Everett with the signatures.
Yeah.
Because I got her signature and I felt fucking terrible.
Mm,
I felt so bad. I was like, I didn't want to pass that check.
yeah. That's fair.
And so I immediately destroyed I tossed the letter in the garbage. And yeah, I went explored more of the northern area, met the ravers / cookers, had a really nice conversation with the girlfriend by the tent, and she was wonderful.
Yeah.
Just great person.
Mhm.
And met the that man with his son
Mhm.
staring at the mural.
Yeah, just a
Totally.
normal guy.
That guy
Just a normal
sucked.
father.
He talked way too much.
Yeah, he was annoying.
Oh,
He's
no.
so annoying.
Talking in an RPG. Oh God.
Okay, so just like in real life, people can talk too fucking much. Just keep it to pertinent information. Deliver the news to me and fuck off.
I listened to
Right.
every word Measurehead had to say, like I said earlier, so I
No.
could understand exactly how much and in what ways to hate his being. I'm an
I
information
can't.
sponge, so I will sit there and just go on.
I'm just curious by nature.
Yeah.
But so I forgot it was day 2 for me that I roundhouse kicked Measurehead. So, but I'll talk about it now. So you can get to the point after listening to Measurehead speak for a bit, just like, no, fuck you. I want to get past you to flip that switch. And so that's how I got to speak to Everett, I think. So I can't remember. I have the footage that should be playing.
It'll be up there.
But yeah, like I'm in my my raincoat talking to him, and I have my tank top on, and I somehow flew the check. Harry backs up about 5 to 10 feet and just runs, turns around, and levels him, hits him square in the neck, and just floors him. And I have a photo here of the aftermath I will post.
Oh, I want to see.
That is just incredible. And I think I was watching Stubbs stream, and I was just like, I fucking did it. I roundhouse kicked Measurehead in his measured head, and just that seeing him laid out sprawl on the ground like that was just, you don't get many moments of validation like that.
That's a good feeling, even just looking at the photo.
I know, right? And just Harry standing over him like, nah, stay down.
You think about getting up, son.
Yeah. But then also day 3 was another where I had my only other death this playthrough. Well, my only death this playthrough, I should say. Where I was talking to Titus Hardy and the Hardy Boys, and there was an escalation in the conversation where it got to the point where I told Kim to give me his gun. And then everyone started looking at me and told me to calm down. And then I basically threatened to kill myself. Now, trigger warning, be warned here, you can kill yourself. You can straight up pull the trigger and die, and the game ends. And just, you get a newspaper article, deranged cop kills self. And I messaged around, I was like, that was intense and really, really hard. I have lost multiple people to suicide. I had a family member. The reason why I moved to Utah was because my sister's late husband committed suicide with a gun. And so that was really hard for me, but I also really appreciate the fact that the game gave me plenty of opportunity to step away, but also let me decide how to act in that instance with that situation and experience it. And it's like, that's it. Your story's over.
Yeah, I think they address a lot of really difficult to tackle issues in this game, and I think it's really admirable that they decided to do so.
Yeah,
I have that recorded as well, so that'll also be playing, but it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, that one of the reasons it's so good is that this game isn't afraid to pull punches. It's perfectly willing to show life to its fullest extent. In all directions.
Yeah, and then immediately like fired it out. And like what's great about it too is after you do that, it takes you to the main menu, and it doesn't even say continue anymore. It just says new game, load game option. So it's like it's done.
Oh,
that was really
I never knew about that. That's wild.
Really nice touch.
I hope you had a very recent save or something.
Oh, I did. I mean, I'd stepped up what I wanted to do because I did it because I was recording it and I wanted to see what would happen and have footage of it. So I saved it immediately, went back in the conversation and committed to it. And yeah, it totally happened.
That's
crazy. That's intense.
So that was my day 3.
On a lighter note, with the airship thing, I posted it.
This is wild.
It's insane. So it's I guess a moralist political vision quest.
Yeah.
Okay. They added those in.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be a moralist to do it. And on the topic of earlier, we were talking about the Pale. This quest has one of the most like poignant and interesting and like trippy depictions of the Pale and how it affects the game world. This quest, you're calling this airship, which is obviously a great distance away, and there's a lot of interference. Like Kim will be saying something on the line, but he's not actually saying something, and it's just it's super bizarre. It's really cool. I sent a little video in the thing. I would definitely suggest playing it, and if not playing it, then watching it because it's really cool. That was my first introduction to like the Pale and like really seeing what's happening there. I thought it was super cool.
That's amazing.
take a peek at that. Yeah, so the end of my day 3 got squirrely, where I had met the cryptozoologist. I'd talked to Classy. I'd found out someone was hiding in the fishing village, and this was the only time I really had to save scum pretty hard because I had like no shivers to have the skill to pass the check on that wall. Probably sat for about 20 minutes just reloading till I passed that check to get into Ruby's domain. Got down there without a gun, went through the whole thing, and I let her go. I didn't have her kill herself. You know, I'd gotten enough of her side of the story to realize that she didn't actually do this. She's not responsible for this murder. So I let her live and let her go. I grabbed her notebook, and at this point it was like 10 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night. So we leave, Kim and I, and we head back to the Whirling in Rags, and there is a military tribunal happening in front of the hotel on the night of day 3 for me. And
Jesus.
yeah,
Day 3 subs.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was rolling for, well, like I said, I didn't do a lot of, not because I didn't realize it was side content, but like trying to, I love murder mystery stuff. Some of my favorite books are murder mysteries. So like
some of my best friends are murder mysteries.
yeah, exactly.
I feel you.
So that was like, this was all super interesting stuff. I was like, what's the next clue? What's the next clue I got? This is wild to me. So I was just like so driven into that path that it's not that any of the side missions were bad. I was just so driven into the main path that I had to know.
It's Ryan, I know you're going to, so I don't need to convince you, but it's not even optional, man. Like, you missed out on like half the fucking game. So,
It's the whole game. You missed the whole game.
I don't think so. You don't get credits by beating the side missions, Skelly.
You don't know. You didn't do it. No, it's good. You missed a
No,
lot
I'm not
of
saying they're not good. It just the way things had rolled out for me and presented them
Dick
to me.
Mullen. He is Dick Mullen, and that's all he'll ever be on this playthrough.
Yeah, and God, the first playthrough of any game that's having you assume a role such as this game does, I so try to fully envelop myself in that character's shoes, and the way I was running this Harry, he was so concerned with solving this case, which, God, now knowing about that phone call just saddens me even more. But like, Harry wasn't worried about that from my perspective. Harry was worried about solving this murder. So that's where my time, attention, and effort went.
That's another really cool thing about this game is like everybody's interpretation of Harry is entirely, you're literally given a fresh slate to make Harry and construct Harry into whoever. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. So cool. Yeah, they really do nail having a character who lives in that world for decades, feel like a perfectly totally blank slate, not know anything, and fit right along in with the player coming in for the first time not knowing anything.
Are you missing anything from day 3 at this point? I'm struggling to think of anybody else that I would have talked to on day 3.
I did a lot of the cryptozoologist stuff.
I don't think I did a lot of that until day 4.
Yeah, I basically talked to them and told them.
Or at least I started it.
Yeah, I talked to him. I told him Lena was looking for him, that the bridge is open again. But because I had advanced everything.
You just hit a vape?
I did. Because everything else was so advanced in the main story that by the time I got to talk to him, I couldn't really push that line forward. So I got back to the Whirling in Rags for the military tribunal. I did not have my gun, and decisions were made that led to basically all the Hardy Boys dying. And I was extremely upset with that because I feel like if anyone was going to have to die in that standoff, it should have been those private military corporation fascists. And to the point where I reloaded my save, went back a day, didn't meet with Ruby the new day 3, just went to sleep, woke up, read a book until nighttime, got my gun, then went back and did Ruby and the military tribunal on the night of the 4th day.
I just want to let it be known I cannot see you. I literally could tell that you hit a vape based off of your voice. Just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say that. I'm
Bleeding
mighty
in his
impressed with
throat.
myself. Mighty impressed. I am a true detective here. Who's the Dick Mullins now? Me. But yeah, day 3, fishing village, church.
Yeah, fishing village, church, a lot of stuff with the crypto folks. Yeah, I knew where a lot of that stuff was going, so I just wanted to do my best with it. And I think yeah, I made sure I got the armor piece. I think I grilled Gary a little more than I did in the original because I knew what he was about a lot more. And like I knew kind of where some stuff was going with him. And
Mhm.
so I grilled him a little harder.
Wait, who?
Gary, the fucking I believe his name's Gary, the friend of Lena's husband.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
talk to him at all. He said
Oh.
something slightly racist, and I said, "Fuck you."
Oh
And I didn't talk to him at
boy.
all.
Yeah, the fucking he's not just a. I mean, not that that's not bad enough, but he's not just a racist, a fucking fascist too. On top of it, not that
I
they don't
didn't.
go
I didn't
together.
talk to him at all.
That guy
No, he said
sucks.
something shitty, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't have time for you.
That's
I've got
fair enough.
crypto
I
stuff
respect that.
defined."
So I went through all the traps and stuff like that, and I think I had Kuno kind of involved too because he was like messing with their traps, and
Yeah.
so I figured
got the
figured out how to
locusts.
stop that from happening in the future,
Mhm.
and then talk to like Lena. And there was this check I couldn't pass. Like I was trying to come up with a plausible alternative explanation for why their traps weren't working or why it wasn't happening for them, and you know I didn't think I couldn't pass it. And I couldn't get the enough checks, or I couldn't like get it to be a white check again, or whatever, so that I could retry it. And so I eventually just wasn't able to do it, which really was a bummer because I wanted to help them, but yeah, I just didn't have the right stats. And when I put on various boosts and stuff, it just didn't work for me. It didn't happen.
Yeah, I got to, so thinking over it and reflecting on my day 3, I did all of that cryptozoologist stuff on day 3. I'm pretty sure it was day 3. Maybe it was it was day 4 because then the next, yeah. So I'll use this as probably my opportunity to talk about the whole cryptozoologist stuff mission because yeah, you help them out and do open up or check the traps, and then you find out Kuno, like part of that mission results in finding one of the traps disturbed, and so that leads them to believe that the cryptid is within the area and engaged with it. Do some investigation, find out Kuno actually stole the locust for his night city thing. Fucking Kuno. And then go back and reset the trap and then wait. But that night you talk with Lena after Morel has already gone to bed and have a lovely and like a melancholy conversation with her where she's saying to you is, I kind of don't want this to be solved. I don't want a resolution to this because long story short, if it's true that what I saw wasn't real as a kid, the entire relationship that I have with my husband is a lie.
Yeah, she started questioning whether or not she actually even saw it.
And decided to, regardless of if it was true or not, wanted to still believe for the sake of her marriage and her relationship with her husband, because it's so heavily hinged.
It's what brought them together.
And has kept them together, yeah. And
so she saw the phasmid
as a child, yeah.
That's her story. Is part of what she was one of like 2 people ever to have seen, like have a detailed account of this phasmid without any, like this mythological creature without any prompting. As a child, she saw it.
Okay.
And so that was what made Morel, question her, and what started their relationship.
Right.
Was her involvement with that. And she starts getting to the point where, she can't remember if it was just her remembering the memory or remembering a story of a memory she created. And so, yeah, it's just a lovely interaction and really well written. Surprise, the conversations that you have with her, and another thing, an instance in which people like making decisions for themselves to keep themselves happy.
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and I mean, as we'll discover.
yeah. I mean, I discovered that part, but
yeah, well, yeah, that's just part of like the story.
Yeah, I definitely do need to play this game with a more smell the roses.
I can't even imagine what your response must have been, Ryan, when you saw that later in the game. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I have no idea what this is and what's happening and why.
Did you see it at the end?
Yeah. Yep, I saw it. But like, so I still got the sense that there was magical elements to this world, so it didn't blow my mind in the sense of how the fuck is that thing here. It more blew my.
I don't think you should have seen it.
You don't deserve to see
it. That's crazy to me that you still got to see it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
But like, it was still. It didn't feel out of left. Like, it didn't feel out of place in the story, but it did come a little out of left field for me. I didn't see it coming, probably because I didn't spend enough time like diving into that part of the lore of this game. But having an understanding that lore isn't just sprinkles on top, that it is grounded and real and part of the world, kept it from being truly like a this is a murder mystery. What is this thing doing here? It
wasn't a Tom Clancy that suddenly turned into that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That shit came out of super left field for me, and I was heavily involved in the whole like cryptozoology shit.
I was, yeah. So
I was like, what?
We should say you get to see the cryptid that is that they're searching for.
The Insulindian phasmid.
Yep. And it's a really cool moment. It's incredible.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but that is that happens. And
it's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for day 3?
Well, no, I think that's it for me, because what happened to you on day 3, I think, was day 4 evening for me.
Yeah, it's fair. It wound up being day 4 in the long run for me, but like my first part through, I was like, well, this sucks. I couldn't live with myself in those decisions, so I had to go back and like redo that just a little bit. I had to get my gun. Yes, day 4 starts up, and like I had a plan in motion for myself. I did a little bit of talking around the fishing village. I think this is when I met the people that get you to become known as Tequila Sunset. But
that was 3 for me.
That was 3 for you. I think that might have been 3, but I also definitely talked to them on 4 in my rego. And I spent a lot of time reading a book so that I could meet the poor lady who has our firearm.
The gun lady.
Yeah. So this is a poor older lady who, from loneliness and time and the world, just has a broken mind in like one of the saddest ways possible. And she happened to get her hands on your firearm from the pawn shop, and every night on the pier is like she's got this hand crank siren and lights and is going around calling herself the cops, the police, and you kind of have to you and Kim have to like talk her down to get your firearm back, and it's only thanks to the Hardy Boys that you're able to like make sure she doesn't get worse by getting in touch with a family member and letting her know like, hey, you have a responsibility here. This is a family member who isn't capable of helping themselves, and it is your responsibility in some fashion to assist them.
Well, she called herself the pig lady or something, right?
People called her the pigs because she was pretending to be a police officer.
Okay. That's what everybody called her when they were trying to set up the meeting.
Yeah.
I never got to see her.
Yeah, she is just a person who the world has broken.
Did you guys do anything with the body on the pier?
Oh yeah.
Follow through that whole quest line?
Yes, I did. I forgot about that.
That was one of the saddest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's also
hard.
sad.
That's heartbreaking.
That's a great moment of like this game not throwing away any character, because I met that lady outside the bookstore on like day 2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The aunt.
Yes.
She was like that kid's aunt.
Mm-hmm.
His aunt's his sister or some bullshit.
And then finding that body and getting the address and going to meet her and seeing her, I'm like, oh god. Oh god. And I am so glad I passed that. I did not have a lot of empathy as a stat. I am so glad I passed that empathy check.
Yeah.
It would have been heartbreaking to not pass that empathy check.
Yeah, I don't think I got my gun on the first one, but I got it on the second, just because I wasn't sure how to do Everard's mission. Like I couldn't remember if there was a way to outmaneuver him, and I wanted to see if I could get really far in the game without doing either of Joyce or Everard's missions. And really, Joyce's missions don't help you get the gun at all. It's really Everard if you want to get the gun and you want to make really good progress. And so yeah, I was able to do it when I redid the game, just like the first time I played this, and I redid it. Yeah, it's really like tense and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
And just very surreal.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
There's one other way you can get a gun, but not your gun.
Yep. You get it from Ruby.
Yep.
I did that.
Oh.
God, that sucks. It sucks so much. And I on my first playthrough, I refused to get it from her. I knew that you could like either talk her into suicide or let her kill herself, basically.
Oh my god, you can talk her into it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't do that. She was just like,
you basically you put the fear in her and she panics and like kind of blame her.
oh, maybe I did that on accident. It was not my intention. I was not stoked, obviously.
Yeah.
She so and I think in the second one, I wanted to see what would happen if I had both guns. Unfortunately, you cannot Laura Croft your way to victory. But
That's a shame.
I was very interested in dual wielding some John Wick stuff. It did not happen. You can only have one gun at a time.
Really?
Well, you can have both guns, but I think I didn't have enough bullets, or like it's not like, obviously this is a CRPG, right? So it's not like it's in real time action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I was able to do much different just because I had two guns. Also, I think one of the guns is like obviously better than the other, or I can't remember. There was some sort of hiccup with my
Ruby's gun
like,
worked fine. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, there's only a handful of bullets you can find, right? And it was like 3 or 4.
Less than a handful. I think it's like 2 or something.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. There's just a few that can be found throughout the whole thing. And your gun has 3 barrels. So if like you find your gun first and get 3 bullets, you probably loaded all those in there, which would be difficult for loading Ruby's gun as well. Yeah. So after I got my gun back, I went and talked to Ruby again. Let her go. Did not let her kill herself or make her kill herself. Either way. Talked, got her notebook, went back to the Whirling Rags, and then legitimately, this is my canon go through for the military tribunal, where I was able to save all but one of the Hardy Boys, if I remember. I think there's one that there's one that always dies no matter what, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2. I can't remember. I think the gardener/lawyer. I think she always dies.
No, you can save her.
I think. Oh, okay. You can save her.
Yeah, she didn't die on mine. I think Angus always dies, and maybe one other. I don't remember off the top of my head who is saved and who isn't. But basically, all of the fascist guys got taken out in mine. It was 6 people dead either way in both of mine. It just went from being Hardy Boys to the private military fascists. Through reading, because I don't hate this scene at all. I think it's a very complex scene. There's a lot of emotions that this scene brings out of me. I know that the most the least people that can die is 4. And I can, like, in a realistic sense, absolutely. I don't think there's a real way in real life where every single buddy in that situation walks out alive.
Yeah.
But in a game where I was allowed such freedom of choice in any decision I had throughout the entire game, I was slightly annoyed that there was not a single path to save everybody.
Save everyone.
I don't think it should have been easy. There should have been so much setup, and basically would have had to follow a walkthrough to make it happen, essentially. Like there was no way you were going to stumble into saving everyone. But it does bother me a little bit that it feels like everywhere else in the game the developer said do exactly whatever you want, but in this scene you're going to do what we deem possible.
I am very conflicted about this particular scene scenario. I do agree that, like, it's like an RPG type deal. You should be able to do whatever, right? Like, you should have more options than not. But I kind of like that they restricted it to where, like, no matter what, it's kind of a travesty, because, like, the whole ordeal is a travesty. And I think they're really trying to drive that home, and that there's no winning this. At the end of the day, that one guy was murdered up front, and, like, more people will probably perish because of other people's selfishness and mistakes.
Rob, did you want to go? Because I got a whole thing about
So I initially, as far as Ruby's concerned, I wanted to try out 2 outcomes because I was recording this. I wanted to see what could play out either way. And first conversation went pretty bad because I passed my check to get to knock down the thing, but I decided to, at that moment, because I knew I wanted to have, like, what I viewed this situation actually being was going to be like the one I committed to. So I wanted to be a little bit more risky with the decisions I made the first time. So she ended up killing herself. And then the second time I let her go and she ran. But so in regard to the shootout, I lost everyone but Eugene and Elaine.
I think same.
But Kim's fine. That was all that mattered to me was
same.
Kim and myself getting out to get some resolution.
I didn't even care if I died.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
I thought I was gonna die.
I did too.
Did you get shot?
Yes.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's scripted.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
you always get shot?
You will always get shot at least once. You can avoid one. You can avoid the extremely racist sniper murderer from the fascists. You can avoid that shot, but you can't avoid the big guy's shot. You'll always get hit by that one. You are bound.
I mean, to be fair, it is literally right up next to you. It's pretty much impossible to dodge it.
Yeah.
Right.
Kim took that dude out like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in regard to my feelings on how this situation can go, I think I really, really enjoy it. Because, kind of to echo sentiments before, I totally understand where your position on this, Ryan, and I think that can totally be frustrating when you have this expectation of at least some semblance of the illusion of control, and giving you the opportunity to solve it. But part of why I like it so much is that you can't solve it. There's no solving this situation. There are ways you can mitigate collateral damage, but this is a shootout in the middle of like a thoroughfare. This is like a Western shootout thing, and some people are going to get shot. Bullets fly everywhere. Someone's going to get hurt.
I think the biggest part of this is that no one was ready for this. This is
no one was prepared.
No one prepared for it. No one saw it coming. It's not even a case of like Mass Effect where you're constantly in people's ears shouting, "Hey, X is coming and X is gonna give it to you, and we've gotta and we've got to figure out a way to deal with this shit. And most of the universe is like, nah, or like maybe, but probably not, and then doesn't prepare and then gets fucking annihilated. This isn't even that. Like in this case, Disco Elysium, people didn't even know. They didn't even see it coming. And so yeah, I agree that this is a case where there had to be tragedy, there had to be shooting. I wouldn't have bought into this as much if no one died at all. I know it sucks that characters died, but honestly, I only cared about like maybe Titus himself and a couple other Hardy Boys, and like I just because most of them have like very slim characterization besides Titus himself, and I just don't have much to hang on for them. So it wasn't a big deal to me that we lost them. It was just a way of symbolizing, hey, shit is real. I will also say too, I'm gonna make a wrestling analogy here. Everybody hold on, or you can like look away. I'll understand. There are matches that are so good, and then they'll do a finish where it's like a distraction finish where like one wrestler gets distracted and then the other wrestler ends up winning, or one wrestler cheats and that's the payoff for like this huge match. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? This match was so good, I don't even care. Like you get a get out of jail free card on this one because like I've gotten in for Disco Elysium. For me, that means it has given me so much choice, so much agency, so much direction. I am okay with it in the back end of the game after about, for me at least, like 15 hours playing, 20 hours playing. They're like, okay, we got to slim this down a little bit to a couple of choices to make some really impactful scenes. I am okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a negative, but even if it was a negative, I would be able to quote unquote excuse it because I'm like, you know what? For me, you've earned it. Like this has been so well done that I'm okay with that.
No, I agree with that. I think that's why I'm only like vaguely annoyed. I think if another game tried to pull something like this, I would have stopped playing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, to that degree.
I could see that.
And
I feel you.
Even with like, I wholly admit, like in reality, people are dying in this situation.
Yeah.
But as a player of a video game, it does.
I can see the metatextual, like you feel like it feels like railroading.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
As a DM, I mean, like a lot. Skelly, do you play any D&D at all?
I love D&D.
Have you ever DM'd?
No.
Okay, so I know Ryan, Dory, and myself have all been have been DMs in some capacity or another, and the greatest tap dance you can do as a DM is to provide the illusion of choice in some instances, and also roll with things that you didn't expect. And I think this, having experience with that, I also think it, from a metatextual, like big picture perspective of the game as a whole, and how, like what Dory said, how it gives you constant opportunities to just make decisions. It gives you like this was gonna happen. People, like there was going to be a blowing or a powder keg that was going to go off, but who gets caught in the blast radius is anyone's guess. But it's the one instance that they ever really push you in a direction, and I think they made the right decision to do that.
I agree. I think contextually that's the best. Yeah, the best point to do that.
I'm not mad that I didn't save everyone.
No, for sure. For sure. I understand your perspective.
It's just that it's not possible to, and
right.
That's like if I never had to go back and do this again and had looked up how to, like what might have been different with my gun and found out that there was no way to do it, I probably would never even have thought about disliking this part of the game in any fashion. But because of that knowledge, it sticks out to me as there's only 2 stops on this railroad instead of 40 that have been at every single other station in this game.
It's kind of a funnel.
Yeah.
I honestly really like that this was the instance in which they chose this is gonna happen. Yeah, you cannot save everyone. You need to come to terms with that. That's basically what the game is saying, and like you have to live with the consequences.
Certainly Harry needs to come to terms with that.
Well, right, but like there is going to be so much loss that comes from this moment,
Yeah,
that you have to come to terms with it.
Mhm.
The player has to come to terms with this situation, and I like that. Even if I would not want there, honestly, would not want there to be like the flawless, perfect run, because honestly, that is so contrary, I think, to this game's message.
No, that's fair.
That it is about, like, you have to come to terms with with the consequences.
Yeah, I don't think a flawless run would have made me happier.
Right.
It's just that having that veil of choice ripped away from me
I get it.
sticks in my brain.
Yeah.
I still think this is a great scene. I played through it twice.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it's exceptionally impactful. Game would be extremely different without it. I'm glad it's here. Yeah, it just and I'm not. I don't want to detract. I don't know.
That's a valid position. I get it. I absolutely get it.
I want to add, so on the first one, I don't remember how many people died. I think a bunch of Hardys died.
Yeah.
I made a lot of the same errors I did the first fucking game, and I was so mad at myself because I knew what was going to happen, and I still couldn't really do anything to better prepare for myself. And I had taken a lot of the skills I had done the first time, so a lot of those like reflex decisions or anything like that, I just knew wasn't going to go well. On my second time around, I saved more Hardys, but this time Kim got shot, and that had never happened before.
Wow.
And I had I think one or at least one, if not two, different places in this shootout where I had an over 70 or 80 or 90% chance of succeeding, and I failed instead.
Ooh.
And I think
I'd be so mad.
I was incredibly furious. And then I woke up and Kuno was there, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit! I've never seen this ending before. Let's go!" And like, I was gonna just do a normal like second ending, but that changed everything for me.
I would
was like,
hate
all right.
to wake up to that kid.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I had already developed a relationship with Kuno.
Oh, for sure,
I already
for sure.
understood, his father and all that dynamic.
Kuno
and,
is your partner for the rest of the game if Kim is shot.
Yeah, he is.
God,
I thought that was
that's
such
incredible.
a bold choice. I know a lot of people probably don't like it, but I thought that was a really
That's
cool
incredible. I love it.
I think that's super interesting. But does that happen even if like you don't have a developed relationship with Kuno?
It happens either
Presumably.
way. He's
Okay.
just a stand-in.
Gotcha. All right.
I mean, either way, you have interacted with Kuno, and Kuno knows what you're up to. And
Yeah, he
also
murdered me.
Also saw the shootout. I mean,
Killed me.
yeah, for sure. And he's literally hanging out like right by the tree, which is out looking on the street. So he
Right.
would have seen everything.
For
So
sure.
I mean, he knows what's going on.
Yeah. No, I think that's super cool. Like wow.
It's so different. I can't wait to talk about like the final conversation with Kuno there. But yeah, we've got more stuff to get to before that.
Yeah, but that's my day 4 and a whole big piece of that game. Y'all have fun. Talk about day 4.
I don't remember. I saw, for the record, I beat this game in mid-April at this point, so it has been many moons since I played this game, and so all the specifics are going to be kind of lost on me. But I remember day 4 was a day of wrap up for me. A lot of like getting stuff done, getting the checklist. The patches had come in at this point, so I made sure to clean up anything I was missing. It was spectacular timing because I had either been busy or I'd been taking days off, or I don't know, like kind of biding my time until the patches came in. And just like until I was like, all right, I just have to do this game. The patch like came in the same day or the day before, or whatever. And so it was a very good timing for me on the PS5. But yeah, just a lot of cleaning up, a lot of like finishing up the church, finishing up, doing as much of the cryptozoology as I could. Trying desperately to get some really difficult checks to go through, but like either succeeding or not. The vision quest I think I did on day 4. Rob, you and I did the same vision quest.
I didn't do a vision quest.
Oh, you didn't do it?
Because I didn't get to commit fully to the communist at the end, because I shifted to art cop.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so I didn't even get it, which I do want to go and see the Vision Quests for sure.
I don't.
Or wait, no, I did. Sorry.
Oh,
So is the Vision Quest in regard to like a particular woman?
It's the reading club. Did you go to the reading club?
No.
Okay.
No.
If you didn't do the reading club, then you didn't do the Vision
Okay.
Quest. So I don't know how much. Look, I don't know if you want me to go wild
Go
here. Or,
go for it.
Go for it.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
So, so basically, you do the most communist thing ever. You end up joining the secret society of communists, and it ends up being two dudes in academic clothes who have a reading group that no one wants to join because it's too fucking academic. And it's really fun. They get into a lot of stuff about materialism, about a few things about the Pale. Probably not as pretty as the stuff that Skelly encountered or Trippy. Much more rigorous and academic. But yeah, this whole theory of like changing matter with your opinions and stuff like that becomes like a whole big part of the conversation. It gets some really wild territory. The two characters themselves are very fun. They're basically on top of that apartment complex where the cage where you the fenced in area where you can't go in the main game. Yeah, that's where they are. They're like right near the Cindy the Skull. They're like right behind where she is.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So they're really cool. I can't say that like a ton of plot important stuff happens, but it absolutely feels like it was always intended to be in the original game. Like there's not a beat missed or a step missed. It absolutely feels like this should have been in the game to begin with. Not in a negative way, but like, yeah, this always feels like this, feels right at home. Lots of rigorous academic stuff that I found very fascinating, but might be very dry. I think they find lots of places for humor. And there's a lot of discussions about Harry's like internal misogyny or like his internalized misogyny towards women that I think is really good too. They take him to task for that, which I think is really great. Yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff. I don't think Kim's ever there because I think the reading group's always really late at night. Or if he is there, I don't think he chimes in a ton just because I think I don't think he's really interested in the side quest, so he just doesn't come along. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, I thought it was excellent, just like the rest of Disco. And like I said, yeah, it feels really at home with everything else. So yeah, the Communist Vision Quest, very good. Just what you would expect, just a reading group and some books and stuff and just talking a lot about people and ideas and whatever.
Bunch of nerds.
Bunch of fucking nerds is what I'm saying.
I mean, this is the place for nerd culture.
That's right.
Oh, most definitely.
It's in the intro.
Yeah, I definitely want to, when I play it again, focus on doing some. I kind of want to do like the closest to like fascist Vision Quest, just to see what that's like.
I'm very curious what that's like.
Yeah.
Same.
But I would never do it. I could never commit to it. So.
Well, I'll do it for you.
Hey,
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
See, for me, that's where like the first run through of a game is my canon run through, right? So like anything else I do after that's just gravy. I'll do whatever because like I have that your quote unquote memory.
Seeing more aspects of the game for sure. My day 4 was like the culmination, like meeting Ruby and then going and doing the shootout, and then day 5 is where my story continues.
I was able to talk down Ruby. I think I kept Clausia for questioning. I don't think she got away. It is possible for her
she got away.
Yeah,
she ran off.
She got away from me.
She ran off. Did she run off and everyone?
Before the
can't remember if
tribunal.
She ran off in mine.
She dipped.
Yeah,
I think she always runs away, right?
I mean,
so.
it's in her character.
If you keep her for questioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did
she
keep her for questioning, and I felt really bad about it. But yeah, I think I kept her for questioning, and so I didn't see her, but she was taken away for questioning, which was not very much like a me thing. But I had already tried a couple of different ways that were much nicer to keep her there, and it never worked. And I was curious if this would work. Hi, Kodiak. How's it going, Freddie? Talking to a dog off screen. But yeah. So I think stuff with Clausia, and then I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, we're just wrapping up side quests. making sure I was ready for the shootout, you know. And then on my first attempt, like I said, a bunch of people died, just like my first fucking time playing the game. But then I soldiered on and continued forward with the investigation.
Yep. Skelly, did you already talk about day 4?
I have not. Were you done, Rob?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, there was what looked
you're
like a
fine.
gnat attacking me.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, day 4 was finishing up the church and then the moral intern vision quest, which like very much like your experience. I thought I was so shocked to hear you guys hadn't done that. That seemed so on brand for Harry. Climbing on top of like the statue and then rigging up these antenna and stuff. But I guess it makes sense. Side questy, whatever. Anyway, did that. Found out about the whole pail ordeal with the crazy sound, and I set up a rave. Kim danced. It was fucking beautiful. What else? Oh yeah, Ruby shot herself in the head. That was cool. Messy. Then there was the giant tribunal. I think I only had 2 guys survive, and then Kim, obviously, the only one that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of my day. It was a pretty busy day. Lots of death.
Real quick on the tribunal before we move past this entirely. So the first time I went to it, and I lost basically all the Hardy Boys except for Titus, maybe one other. Kim survived. And then when I went to go back, I'm like, well, if people have to die, I want the fascist private military corporation people to die. I don't want the Hardy Boys to die. I kind of like them. And
the military people survived on mine. 2 of them did, and one just
Yeah, one of them took a fucking shot from Kim like a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the sniper.
Yeah, I don't know how closely you looked at that guy, the sniper one, but they talk about he had a bunch of stick figures on his hat. And like
for everybody he's killed or whatever.
41 of them, I had really high perception, so I could count exactly how many he had. 41 of them were small black figurines, and 2 or 3 at the end were white. And so when like the leader asked, "You know who that guy is?" My response was, someone who likes to kill a lot of colored people, it looks like.
Yeah.
You, you absolute prick. But when I came back the next day with my gun to, save as many Hardy Boys as I possibly could, Kim died like 7 times in a row, and I was not having it. I had to redo that whole thing so many times to get to Kim surviving.
How did you eventually get it?
I save scummed. And just got lucky.
I mean, so was it just bad checks, or you didn't have the right abilities, or what was it?
It was just bad checks, because each of those, not a single one of those was below 50%.
It just kept rolling.
It just kept rolling poorly. But
did everybody save scum?
A few times, not like extensively. I did for the Shivers wall to get down and meet Ruby, and I did with Kim here maybe one other time.
Did anybody else?
I not really. I think there might have been one where I was trying, mainly because the way I was playing this game, because I was recording for capture. I wanted to try a lot of different things out and see what succeeded and what would fail, and like how things would kind of turn out. But as far as like desired outcomes, I think I did once. And that might have been for the changing of expression. I just reloaded it once.
Yeah, I'm weird with these kind of games, like the Wolf Among Us or whatever.
Yeah,
I think I've talked about this on stream.
Oh boy, Dory could talk your ear off about decisions happening that maybe you weren't in control of.
I don't want to go back there, please. I don't want to go back.
Is it Glassum? Is that what you're talking about?
No, she recently was streaming Batman Telltale game, and chat made decisions for her, some culminating in 0% anyone else ever doing. So she was the first person to do.
I was the first person to ever completely baffle
on this platform.
Batman. Yeah, the percentage was 0% that had ever done that.
We just didn't talk to her for a whole scene.
I was just in shock. But anyway, I love Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us is great.
So there's a part in there where you're talking to the woodsman and you're prompted to glass him, and I'm thinking, like, woohoo, chink, Cheers. No, it means hit him in the fucking head with a glass. What? So I just stopped playing that game. Anyway, point is, I can't bring myself to reload on games like that. Like I'm like, well, that was the decision that I made. And the thing that pissed me off with Wolf Among Us is like glass him. It should have said hit him in the head with the fucking glass. What is glass him? It's a thing. Google it. Nobody knows what the fuck that means. It's so bad.
That's bad context for sure.
It's super bad.
Yeah, that's bad context.
It's not great.
It is the movie.
It was the movie. But no, so I didn't do that at all. I didn't do any loading or saving or whatever to get a desired outcome.
F5, F9. There's F9, F5. One way or the other.
Save, quit?
One's quick save, one's quick load.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those are like staple bindings for quick save and quick load.
And I just
Especially
bound those to my mouse. I was playing this game one-handed.
Wow.
I've done that for the immersive sim genre of games, like your Deus Ex and all that, because I like seeing different outcomes too. It's just kind of how, but in like a single playthrough, just to kind of see how things turn out. But yeah, definitely not so much in this.
But yeah, day 4. Lots
So,
of
yeah.
death for everybody, it sounds like.
Did everybody wake up with a bunch of pain and
Yes.
Kim basically being by your side? And all
Yep.
that stuff?
I know, like such
Room
a
clean.
sweet baby. He's so sweet. I love him.
100%.
Bandaged me up, cleaned up my room.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Kim. Gave me little kisses. He's so sweet.
We're on the job, Skelly.
I'm sorry.
Kisses on the job. Come on.
He's sweet. I don't know.
A hug's
He's so
one thing,
nice.
but
No, he gave me little kisses. He's like, I just smoked my single cigarette. And I'm like, oh, Kimmy, I love you.
So I woke up. Oh no, wait, you're asleep for 2 days, so I guess it was day 6. But it's like the 5th day you play.
Oh,
you sleep a whole extra day.
Yeah, I just thought about that too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I hadn't even thought about that.
just popped into
Yeah,
my head.
I think I ended day 6 or day 7. I don't remember which day it was.
Yeah,
but
I was done
yeah.
day 6.
Yeah. So it was day 6 for me then, where we decide to check the only B prime location that we haven't gotten to check yet for that shooting angle, which is a separate island off the coast. We head to the fishing village, ask Lillian to borrow her boat, and head over. And I adore this whole setup. I don't know how much y'all are into history, but the idea and setup for this actually happened in real life a whole fucking lot.
What, people surviving on islands?
Leftover soldiers. That all the way up through like 1990, if I remember correctly, there were Japanese soldiers found on the islands of the Philippines who were still
That's
fighting
immediately
World
what
War
this-
II.
That's immediately what this made me think of.
So I adore that shit. This is wonderful. So you get to this island. I guess I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. You get to this island and you find this is a communist revolutionary, right? From the revolution that happened 40 years ago in the world. Who through a series of unfortunate events found himself living alone on what used to be a forward defending point from the war, and has been overlooking the city, living alone all this time. And
in this little bunker on a little island.
Yep.
What do you mean?
But he sneaks to the mainland to get stuff. He just sneaks there at night.
Yep, for sure. But you know, through much conversation, you come to find out this is the man who shot our victim,
The mercenary.
the mercenary,
The mid-coital mercenary.
from the island all the way through. And wild. I love this reveal from a murder mystery standpoint. So good.
Okay. I like murder mystery games and books and stuff, but I don't like it when they're like, the culprit was this person you've never met before. How would you have ever figured it out as a reader and or player? I don't like that. It should have been somebody we already met.
Yeah, I do remember there being a lot of discussion about people having mixed feelings on this being the right.
So
Thank
there goes your opinion.
Let me recover from that brutal attack I just suffered. Okay. Anyway, I do remember people having mixed thoughts on the the killer being exposed as someone we'd never seen before.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I get why it leaves other people feeling cold. It would have been more interesting if it had been someone we felt a relationship with. That said, I mean, there had already been a lot of discussion about the war, and I think that them incorporating the war coming back into the plot in this way is probably the most interesting way they could have done it, to show that like the war isn't really over, the revolution's not quite over, like it has one last soldier left who's willing to fight.
Mhm.
But I understand, like I totally get that criticism that putting someone in who we've never met before could never have guessed.
Well, yeah, it's like okay, that's sort of shitty. Like I was like, oh, maybe it was so and so, maybe it was so and so, and then it's like you find out, couldn't have been anybody. They should have made a Gaston, the guy with the fucking sandwich. That dude's a criminal. He didn't let me have a bite of his sandwich at all. That guy is an asshole.
I guess I was like expecting someone we would never expect as soon as we found out it was a shot and not an actual hanging. At that moment in my mind, I was like, oh, we're not going to meet this person.
And
Really?
I mean, it really has nothing to do with Harry or at all. Like, there's no reason to suspect that, or anybody, right? Like the guy who's shooting from the island really has nothing to do with anybody there. I mean, he's just like this jealous, bitter old man who is completely consumed, or was consumed by his ideology, and now consumed by bitterness and regret and hatred and misogyny,
possibly some cryptic shit.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a massive part of it, in my opinion.
He's also a really good foil for Harry in a way, where he is consumed by a lot of the same things that Harry is consumed by, but he's chosen a very different path of releasing those emotions in an incredibly destructive way. And instead of drinking himself to death or whatever, I mean, he's basically like shooting other people and fighting a war that he's long given up on. So I don't know. I still like it and think it's a good pick, but I also understand the criticism that like it kind of sucks that we could never have gotten it right who it was, because we never met this character. But yeah, I don't know. Rob, what do you think?
I was thinking about that when it was happening. I was reflecting on the choice that they made to make it someone that wasn't someone we could have ever known. But at the same time, I ultimately really enjoy it. I think it does a great job at continuing to add presence and realism to this world, that there are people that still exist and have their own motivations that don't involve anything that orbits around you. And that...
But this is my game. I'm the main character. My like inner like gamer demon, like little gremlin, is like, no, it has to be about me.
Validate my contribution to the plot.
If I haven't met you, you don't exist.
Right, and that's funny. Is it like that's the thing? Is it like it adds a sense of permanence to to the consequence of things that have happened in society. And people having motivations that are unhinged and don't factor into things that you could have considered. And I appreciate that, because that honestly was way more against my expectation than someone we know being directly involved.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was super
Wouldn't it have been great if it was just Garth the whole fucking time?
Dude, it should have been. I'm just saying.
I mean, those unreasonable hotel prices. I mean, if he's not a killer,
He's making a killing.
through the
He's
month.
angry, and it's not because of you.
Wait, $20 a night is unreasonable?
First night was like 130.
That's because you broke a window, ruined the tape recorder up there, smashed the couch out.
No.
He should have let us throw a better party and let us sing that song.
Yeah. I didn't get to do karaoke. Bad game.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
who did karaoke and who didn't?
I never found the tape.
Oh.
I found the tape, I found everything, and I walked up on stage and I was like, huh? And I was like, wait, no, actually, I'll go find Ruby first. Can't do karaoke after you find Ruby, by the way.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
did-
sing for some reason.
Conversely, I did karaoke and I fucking smashed it.
Damn it. Jealous.
Yeah, I definitely want to do karaoke on the next run.
Everyone kind of had to begrudgingly say, like, well, you're an asshole, but that was pretty cool.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like too late. And I was like, no, I need an audience. So I'll just come back here in the morning.
I'll just do it in
And
Town
like,
Square.
I couldn't.
You'll never
I'll
have an
just do it in
audience
Town
again.
Square. I'll just
Yeah.
hold the microphone and sing the Deaf Squad to death.
Yeah, I was really internalizing my inner Harry. I was like, there's no one here. Oh wait, it'll be fine.
Oh, that's too good.
And alas, no karaoke was sung. Died my lips. But yeah, I thought this part was really cool. Did anybody sleep on the bed?
Yes.
No.
No?
Oh, Ryan.
You missed every good part of this game.
What do you mean? I found the killer. That's the best part of the game.
The only thing that matters is the case. No, it's so fucking cool.
That was what I thought was the Vision Quest at first when Dory was talking about it. It's really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, that's you end up. So Ryan, I won't say the whole thing, but basically, when you go to sleep, Harry basically ends up meeting his ex.
You meet Dolores Day.
Well, you meet Dolores.
Dolores Day.
Who's really Harry's ex.
A stand-in for
Dora.
his ex. Yeah.
And you get to give Dolores Day the action figure. She doesn't want it.
For the pawn shop.
Yeah.
She doesn't want
Which
it.
I
by the
did
way.
buy.
She didn't want it, which just seemed a little off to me. I'm like, you love these action figures, like
Yeah.
take it, Jesus.
I didn't have to go to like I had just woken up. Like I woke up, went to Lillian, and went to the island. It was like 10 a.m. when I got there.
Unbelievable.
So I was like, screw sleep. I want to find this murderer.
That's wild.
Yeah. I really want this to be a lesson for Ryan to just reflect on his actions here today.
There are consequences. You miss things.
Yeah.
You missed so much.
But
Dick
like,
Mullins, come on.
I do not feel detracted from this story in any way, shape, or form by having not done those things.
Oh, they're so.
I
feel detracted for you, Ryan.
That's
do
fine.
as
Don't worry
well.
about it.
It's
But-
a totally different experience, I
Mhm.
imagine.
I still love the experience I had start to finish.
Oh,
That's
totally.
great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, so you end up talking to her. I don't know if you all said anything or got anywhere. I think the first time around, I did a lot of the options. Like the first time around on the final cut, I mean, I did a lot of the options. Although I tried to avoid some of them. Some of them are just too sad, too cringy. As the
That's
kids would
me.
say. Yeah.
I'm here for the cringe decisions.
I kissed her and we got back together. Happily ever after.
I don't
Yeah,
believe you.
Okay.
I lied. That's a lie. No, it's a
Yeah.
total lie. 8
Yeah.
years. 6. Sorry, 6 years. See? Too long. There's no way. Unbelievable. No, I avoided at all costs trying to like kiss her or whatever. I was like, dude, just fucking go. Enough. This is a dream. Where's your health bar?
Where's your health bar?
Yeah, like he starts walking into the ocean, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, what the fuck? My health
know.
bar is gone. This is not real. This is a dream.
Mm.
That was really cool, though. I liked
Yeah.
that.
It
Big
was
fan.
really great. A lot of the exchanges between them are just fucking brutal. I don't
Mhm.
think not on the level of the payphone because at this point you already know about her,
Mhm.
but it's still fucking brutal. And
Dude,
it's
she's
the-
savage.
Yeah.
she knows Harry. I mean, she knows. Everard can say, "I know Harry. I know you, Harry." Like all he fucking wants to. She knows Harry.
Dora knows Harry. They were together for like 12 years.
Yeah. Anything else on the island?
Come here.
Oh, on the island. The end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next thing I want to talk about. So let's say yeah, so as you're like getting this old soldier to tell his tale about that night, basically extracting the confession.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another confession to make. Sorry.
The Insulindian Phasmid appears.
Pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty great.
even without like
It was so cool.
the connecting tissue for me, like this was a really cool moment. I thought this was awesome.
Fuck, it's the best part of the fucking game. It's so good. It's so fucking good, dude.
Just the greatest moment of the entire exchange is when Harry just goes and puts his hand on it.
Yeah, he just,
Uh-huh.
it's so
And
good.
Kim gets a photo.
I know, it's so good. Do you guys get to talk to it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so cool. And then it talks about how it releases a toxin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's my hot take. I think the soldier was probably, had it not been for the Insulindian Phasmid, he probably would have been fine.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what.
As a whole.
Yeah, I think that's. Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Like,
yeah.
he wouldn't have killed anybody. He probably would have abandoned his post, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
totally.
true. That's a big part of it. I think unraveling that as a deeper part of the mystery just adds another cool part to this, is like the Insulindian Phasmid, this thing that Lena wants to meet so badly and wants and mythologized and sees as so beautiful, is actually slowly killing this old man, or kind of keeping him alive but killing him at the same time.
Yeah,
And contributed to the corpse hanging out in the tree.
Right.
The whole reason any of this game is happening is because of that Phasmid.
Mhm.
Yep.
But it was
Great.
nice. I liked it.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think there's,
Seems very intelligent.
for me, there's like a 50-50 thing. I don't know that soldier would have left his post without the Phasmid. Just like I said, there are a plethora of examples in our own world of soldiers
Sure.
solitarily living on an island still fighting a war that ended decades ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he would have been driven mad enough to like commit the crime.
Murder.
Right.
True.
So-
But I mean, he was after the Phasmid leaves, or after.
Oh,
sees
yeah,
the
he goes,
Phasmid,
like,
he's absolutely catatonic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, for
like,
sure.
I totally attribute
I
just about all of that.
I
to
will
the Phasmid.
absolutely attribute the action of the shot on. We
Okay.
never said the guy's name that died, Lely.
Yeah.
I will absolutely attribute that to the Phasmid, but I could go, given more evidence either way, I could be driven to believe either side, that he stayed there entirely because of the Phasmid, or he stayed there of his own free will, and
That's
by
true.
that act was infected from the Phasmid and drove him a little bit crazier.
That guy
Mhm.
killed other people too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
You guys.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a soldier.
yeah. No,
Well,
even
no,
outside of that,
but
he killed.
Prior, the Everart's predecessor.
Yeah,
Oh,
Killed
that's right.
her.
That's right. We do learn about that. I
Mhm.
hadn't learned about that in the
Mhm.
prior playthrough, so that really surprised me.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Everard came out there and talked to him, or was it
Mhm.
Edgar? One of the brothers.
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, came out there and talked.
Gave him blankets and shit.
Yeah. I will say that having Kuno there is a complete fucking trip. And even while I was playing it, it didn't feel like it was real. But having Kuno there, I don't know. It's still like, I think a lot of the moments still somehow manage to work. But Kuno definitely brings a very different energy to it
I
than Kim does.
Can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Do you get the picture with Kuno? He doesn't have a camera.
Yeah, he tells you, he's like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't think to bring a camera. I'm sorry, basically.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
That's
you don't
so
get the
funny.
picture.
that's rad.
I feel like the picture is the only thing that saved me in the next little segment of the game, honestly.
But he and Lely or Lely?
Lily, yeah.
Yeah, Lely. He and Lely have some very funny like back and forth banter. Like this is Kuno's not an afterthought here. There are certain sections he isn't there with you for.
Wait, Lely's the guy who died. Are you
Yeah.
referring to the soldier guy?
The soldier, yeah.
Oh, I don't
what
remember
I meant.
his name.
It's a
I
long
don't.
one.
But him and the
The
soldier,
deserter.
that's what I meant, have like really good back and forth. And it's funny too, because Kuno doesn't take the boat with you. And when you get there, Kuno is there and he's somehow beating you there. by the way,
What?
Cronk.gif, like by all accounts, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, like it makes absolutely no sense how Kuno got there, and you're like, wait, how did you? And he's like, Kuno does what Kuno wants. And
That's
it's
so
just there's no
funny.
explanation given for how the fuck Kuno got there or how he gets back, but
That's
I love it. Kuno is just a fucking force of nature, and we were all just living in his domain.
This is true.
But it's great. I mean, he gives you a lot of great sass. And some of it, honestly, if you build up enough relationship, is actually semi heartfelt, or you can tell that he kind of respects you at this point. He's having
No.
difficulty like showing those emotions towards you because he's a little brat. But yeah, he definitely, there are some nice moments with Kuno, believe it or not.
Did you guys
Go
kill
ahead.
his dad?
No.
Oh wow, no! I just took the drugs and then I told Kuno I wasn't giving it to him.
That's what I did too.
Yeah.
I would have if I had the option, but I didn't have my gun.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
I would have. I wonder if you can. I wonder if you can like shoot him in the head.
I don't think
Because
so.
that's why Kuno asked you to go in there, right? Hey, kill my dad.
No, he just wants to take the drugs from him.
Oh.
I think
Yeah,
maybe
he just
wants
wants
you to
the
beat up
drugs.
his dad at
Oopsies.
most.
Okay,
I
I, thought
wonder if Kim would stop
I was
you.
going in there as like a mercenary. I was about to kill that guy.
Yeah, because we don't have enough mercenaries in this town.
I'm one of the good ones.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm on drugs.
Mhm.
I'm a
Yes.
higher price mercenary. Okay, that's good.
Okay, do you
I don't know
guys-
if Kim would stop you from doing that though.
I don't know either. I feel like you do way worse things in the game that he does not stop you.
Then shoot a helpless father in the head.
How about you? At one point, you can turn the gun on Kuno,
Yeah.
and that father's not helpless. He's a child beating drunk.
I'm not saying helpless. I mean, in that instance, he is like comatose because he's so damn
He's
high.
about to be dead. Boom. No, do you guys think that the Insulindian Phasmid or the Deserter put like the Oranier's passport and all that shit in the little thing? You know what I'm talking about? Where you find like the
Yeah.
helmet and the
I
passport.
think it was the I think it was the fast.
You think it was the Phasmid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
I think that dude's too fucked up to do much of anything.
to do that.
Yeah.
He's just
And it was also like
surviving.
in a little nest or something. I definitely think it was the fast one.
Yeah, it was in a little nest, but I'm wondering if like the guy brought it.
Stashed
And-
it there or
Well,
something.
yeah, because he said he snuck to the mainland. He said he
Right.
even looked in the buoy. Well, yeah, maybe it was the Phasmid because he said he looked in the buoy and that it wasn't there. So maybe the Phasmid grabbed it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I feel like that shows some very bizarre motivation for the Phasmid. Like maybe it knew what it was doing. Why else would it gather all of these things pertinent to the case?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, I think this creature's more intelligent than a lot of people would
It's
want
super
to.
intelligent.
Yeah.
Oh, totally,
So-
totally.
Find out in the
crazy
spin-off
intelligent.
game where Lena has her own cryptozoology office set up.
In
I
Disco
would
2.
kill
It'll-
for a
We'll
spin-off.
search for more money. Yeah, it'll be like Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, but it'll be Lena and her husband instead.
I would love another game set in this game world.
They are doing
Yeah.
a prequel or
I heard they were doing some sort of TV show or something.
they are doing a TV show. I don't know where the fuck that's at anymore.
Yeah,
and then
I don't
the
know.
book this is based on is eventually getting translated to English. And then on top of that, I believe they did confirm that a sequel or a prequel, I can't remember what, is coming out at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine it'll be the same characters, right?
I
Probably
can't. I
not.
mean, I don't even know
I
how you
hope
would
not.
do that. You would have
Yeah.
to make some sort of canonical ending to this game.
Yeah,
That's
I would
always the trickiest part.
I would prefer, more things in universe but not directly related to
Mhm.
this game.
I just
Same.
want more Kim. That's all I've ever wanted.
We
in
all
life.
do.
That's all I've ever
I bet they've
wanted.
got Kim Kitsuragi body pillows.
We all go quiet. What happened next in everybody's
Clickety clackety,
adventure?
clickety clackety.
No, I muted my mic so you can hear me type. Shh.
Well, after you get the old revolutionary soldier to confess in one fashion or another, you bring
Guys,
him.
don't Google that.
You bring him back ashore, and the few people from your department that you called and saw in costume. What did I see them? Day 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Are there waiting for you, and the man with the sun who you meet in the fishing village looking at the side of that building. It turns out they were all either specialists working with the RCM or just partners you've been working with for years.
Well, that guy was like a psychologist.
One of
Yeah, he was.
yeah,
Dad.
He was
Yeah, he was
technically
brought
an
on.
outside agent.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
He's
He was
like
one
a
of the specialists.
contractor. Yeah.
And like they want you. They're like demanding you like speak for your actions, essentially, like defend yourself. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say I let Kim do a lot of the defending for me.
Aww.
Can we say fuck his old partner, please?
Yeah,
hate
he's an
his old
asshole. That
partner
guy sucks.
so much.
Yeah.
Like I know I talked about this earlier, but I just hate his attitude. I hate how snobby he is. No matter how many things that you've done better in this game, and I know Harry's been an asshole and a bad person. I get that. Totally on board with that. Not excusing him. But no matter how many things that you've done to like
It's never good enough for that
stop
fucking
drinking
French
or
guy.
be better or talk to people better. And I understand Harry's relapsed a lot, but like no matter what you do, he's always like, "Oh, well, I'm not sure about that. Sounds like bullshit to me." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. You weren't there. Fuck you." Oh,
Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, a bit of a prick.
I that was one of the few points in the whole campaign where I went off. I knew it was the strategically wrong thing to do, but for part of the like, I think for one of the dialogue options, I basically said, "Where the fuck were y'all?" Because like, if you're all here judging me now, where the fuck were you when that fucking shootout was happening? Where were you when I was taking down Ruby? Where were you when I was making deals with Everard and Joyce? Like, where the fuck were y'all? I had like so much like legitimate and genuine anger at them. Yeah, I just like this scene is very powerful and it's very cathartic, but it's also like for me it was a lot of like what have y'all been up to? Because like I need some explaining on your part.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable reaction, especially like coming to this point and realizing that they were in town for at least a little while, certainly ahead of the shootout. So like the reaction of where the fuck have you been if you're going to sit there and judge me for my actions over the past few days, that can really ring home. I totally understand that.
Not strategically smart because Harry has done too many fucked up bad things to really call anybody else out, but I still think justified in doing so at the same time. And like, look, you know,
But yeah, that guy still fucking
stones.
sucks.
Yeah, I'm
still a douchebag. Guys, hey, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Keep going though. I have something really exciting that just showed up at my house.
Oh, sweet.
Be right back.
Is it the Kim Kitsuragi body pillow?
God, I fucking wish. No, I'll be right back.
Oh God, cameras went wild.
Oh no! I'm
Just leave your camera on with the chair. Just put the camera back on.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Wait, I'm not wearing pants. I'm really gonna get a character. Hold on.
I think she is getting the body pillow. That's what
Wait, no, I'm not. I promise. I'm just really not wearing pants. This is not a joke. Can you see my butt? No.
No,
Okay.
good, perfect.
I think Skelly has the
Come on,
best
Harry.
lines of this whole thing.
Get it together, Harry Dubois. Put on some pants.
I think
I love
Skelly
it.
has had the best lines of this whole.
I love it so
podcast.
much.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. So anyway, here's Wonderwall. Yeah. How did this conversation go for y'all?
I would say it went pleasantly. This really felt like a really good wrap up to my time with Harry. You know, like I can't change what he did in his past. I can't change how he's going to continue to act in his future. But this felt like a great culmination of, look, I realize I fucked up. I realize I fucked up a lot. But I want to try and do better. I've met this person that makes me want to do and be better. And Kim agreed to like come to Precinct 41 as I don't know. I adore this moment. It feels, of all the things that feel really real in this game, this is one of the great parts for me because it's not one of the really reals that like real life sucks. You're not gonna avoid the fact of real life sucking from time to time. This is one of those really reals that like.
About me like that?
This is one of those really reals that is like things suck, but you can do something about it. Just
Yeah.
you don't have to sit in the burning house and say this is fine, like that dog
Yeah.
we all love and know from the internet. You can put the fire out.
or leave the building to start.
I think for me, this game was so cathartic for me, especially when I played it in 2019.
Okay.
I think that for a lot of people who have made like really like I related to Harry probably more than most people should in terms of like being a fuck up or feeling like a fuck up.
Yeah, I feel
And
that.
I think coincidentally, the person who I found in my life who made me want to be a better person. I mean, I already wanted to be a better person, but really helped me do that. Is also named Kim, and she's a lovely person. So I have my own Kim. Unfortunately, does not have a bomb ass orange bomber jacket, but we'll work on it. Yet. But yeah, this resonated so much with me. I love this scene. I love talking to the other, like as frustrated as I got, and with Kuno, it's even fucking funnier. It's like he rings them out a couple of times, and God is that cathartic because he says things that you shouldn't. So it's great. He has really good dialogue.
I'll have to watch that.
It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I just found this whole last scene so cathartic, and I just didn't want it to end so badly. I wanted to go with them to Jamrock. I wanted to go with them to Lena's house to leave the phone number. Like I wanted to continue so badly with this, and it's just such a beautiful way to end this, where you just kind of brought back to reality, and all the police officers were like, "All right, what the fuck happened? Why did it happen? Where And it's kind of like the game, kind of like reviewing all of your major actions, like Telltale does.
Yeah, it's a great debrief.
Yeah, it's a debrief, basically. It's a group debrief.
Yeah, I agree. Like I thought it was incredibly cathartic and like vindicating, especially like you'd said, Ryan. It's an opportunity to like. There are instances in life in which you go about trying to seek change and improve yourself, but there are those that do not care and will always see you in a particular light. And to have that like that catharsis, that opportunity where, look, I made quantifiable. There are quantifiable decisions that I have made that have contributed to the success, all the successes that I've had up until that, like to now, like this conversation we're having. I solved this case, but I did it differently than how I usually do. Like for me, how I viewed his characters, like I didn't succumb to my vices. I maintained integrity. I roundhouse kicked a racist. But you have to acknowledge the progress that was just made. You have to admit that I did something good. And like the acknowledgement there is so great. And then just Kim just cheerleading, like, no, this dude rocks.
Yeah.
This is like, you have no idea. Like, this is all true. I've got a photograph. This shit's real.
Yeah.
And then how I was so damn satisfied to offer Kim a job.
Yes.
That was so
Everybody
cool.
did that, right? Everybody did that?
Yeah, that was probably the biggest smile on my face at any point in this game.
Yeah. Kim was like, I'd love to.
Yeah.
No, it's so cute.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was so
Yummy.
Skelly,
Yeah,
how was the scene for you, Skelly, with the police saying, like, basically, like, oh, explain yourself and your actions? And
I mean, my Harry was just like, guys, none of this fucking matters. Do you understand what I just fucking found right now? The Insulindian phasmid is real. I was just like, why are we talking about is this a fucking performance review? How about this? And I was like holding up the picture, like, do you see this right now? And Kim was like, no, really, yeah, like this is a lot. We should be talking about this.
That's amazing.
I love that you chose violence. I'm very happy.
I mean, seriously, that shit was fucking magical. Are we not going to address that, Mr. French guy and lady and weird fucking weird talking too much dad. Also, big reveal. So Kim is my favorite sidekick character, but a statue of my second favorite sidekick character just came in.
Your hubby?
Oh.
Garrus.
Do you need to leave to do some calibrations real quick?
Maybe. I don't know. Turn off the camera. Isn't this so cool? Though?
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Excited. I got an
make a joke
email.
about that sniper rifle, but I won't.
Please do. Let's see. It looks so nice.
I was gonna ask if that was why you weren't wearing pants.
No, this is before Garrus. I just don't wear pants.
I mean, it's fair.
Just like my Harry. I was really trying to get in character. You can watch my playthrough. I don't wear pants. Hardly ever. And then Kim even asks me about it. He's like, I have a question about your dress code.
It's a tactic. It's a police tactic.
Yeah, it's like it really it catches them off guard.
That's
It unsettles them. That's how I get in. Get all the information. But no, yeah, this part was great. It was really interesting. Like definitely a debrief. Talking about all of your accomplishments and shortcomings.
And not having pants.
Don't you
And not
dare
having
debrief
pants.
while you're not wearing pants.
I would have
Did
if
you
I
not
could
have
have.
pants while you were talking to them, Skelly?
No. I can double check right now.
It's so much
No,
better.
I did put on pants, but I didn't have a shirt. I did not have. I
Well,
just had a
you know-
jacket
All right.
and a big hat.
We'll take it.
I looked
Second
great.
place.
How are we finding this
Sorry.
out right here at the end of the game?
Finding what out.
That you
Dress
never
code-
wore
dress code.
pants?
I mean,
yeah,
Was it a big deal for Harry? That's how he got work done.
I got the shit done. That's all that matters. And the only one who really questioned it was Kim, and it was once. So mad respect for Kim just trusting the process over here. 'Cause it worked. It absolutely worked.
It's true.
But no, it was really great. But my big thing was the Phasmid. I was like,
That's
"Guys,
fantastic.
we need
That
to
is
fucking
on
talk
brand.
about this right now." Because that would be me. That was honestly
Exactly.
probably the most me
That's
thing.
why I think it's so great.
Because it's crazy. That's nuts. I have photo evidence of a fucking Bigfoot of this universe, and no one is. Everybody's just gonna be like, "What about the Doom's commercial area?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking what? You see this?" Holding it up.
This is the most
We're
Skelly
all
reaction.
doomed.
It was crazy. I was just like, guys, do you know what the Pale is? This shit is fucking wild. See that
I've
church
seen
over there?
things, man.
Yeah, that church, bad news. Demolish it. Something's happening. I don't know.
So also some kid drug dealers.
Don't worry
Sorry.
about them. They're fine.
Yeah, they're
all
fine.
moralists now. They're in line with the RCM at this point.
You got a bunch of cadets.
Yeah, they're ready.
Oh,
They're also
so-
coming.
I want to tell you all what happens if you have Kuno with you.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can take Kuno out of that godforsaken Revachol, and you can make him, and I fucking pushed for this, a junior like
Aww.
like a cadet or
A little
not a
baby
Yeah.
cadet,
detective.
but you know what I mean. Like an in training RCM member.
Aw.
That's
based on your
really cool.
specific recommendation, and it's
That's
so
really cute.
And like Kuno, the way he responds to it is he's kind of begging you to do that for him, but
Aw.
without saying it. Like he's trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah,
but,
he's
I
like,
think it's also
I do what I
him-
want, but I want to do
But
this, please.
It's also him like realizing that Harry actually genuinely cares for him and wants him to have a better life.
Mhm.
And it's a really sweet scene between them, and I honestly like would love it if like Harry like cares for Kuno and like get both of them help each other get their life better. I
Mhm.
want to see that fucking movie now. God damn it!
Just that
I
can just be your
want
head
Mark
canon.
Hamill.
Yeah, it just
That's
happened
my
after
headcanon,
credits.
That they have like Harry goes back to his old place, Kuno moves in, and they take care of each other and get better. Eventually, obviously, they have a lot of like back and forth, and Kuno calls them a bunch of words that I'm not going to use at first, but you know, we get there eventually.
It's
actually
okay. It
really
just gets
funny.
scrambled and scratched out.
It's funny because Kuno keeps swearing in front of the police officers and he doesn't care, but he also is like incredibly like self-aware of like, you know, hey, if Kuno needs to like pipe down on the swearing, you know, you let me know or whatever. And you know, it's just such a funny scene. You've got to see it. It's so good with Kuno there. because he's swearing a lot, and the officers are like, okay, so he's a child, he shouldn't be doing that.
Like, look,
and-
man, Revachol.
That's right.
Look, man,
No, it's so good.
just point to the city behind you. You see this?
Behind me, you see this? This happened to this kid.
And we let it happen. Our precinct just decided to not care.
Yep.
Goddamn proper jurisdiction.
I mean, I guess that's most. Is there anything we didn't get to touch on? Like I said, I know my path kind of brought me to the end what felt like a little quickly.
Ryan, what was your completed playtime? What was your playtime?
Let me look. I can check on Steam. Library.
What was mine for?
Just-
I have no way of getting like a useful, accurate parameter for that because I have a half playthrough, and then there were a lot of instances where I had to like step away for a bit to attend to something. So
We're seeing playthrough time.
Yeah. Steam
38 hours for me.
Steam says 29. I'd guesstimate that maybe an hour or two lower between stopping to take a bathroom break, something like that.
38.
45 for me. But again, that does 40. I have 45, but that is not an accurate representation of my
I can't
playtime.
believe that Rob's the true gamer among us.
I had to see everything.
That completely accurate. All right, let me check. I'm going to my PS5 right now.
You're good. Yeah, I'd say probably realistically my full playtime would be around 25 hours. If I had to guess.
Let's see. Total playtime is, oh my god, 45 hours. That can't be right.
But not 45.5.
Oh shit. But yeah, 45 hours. I would say I put in a good like 25 hours of a first playthrough, and then 10 hours of a second, or 5 hours of a second, and then I don't even know what the other 15 are. The other 15 might be me pausing, or no, that's way too much. I don't know where all that comes from. I'm just gonna admit it. I have no idea where this comes from. But yeah, I played 45 hours according to PS5.
Sweet.
So was there anything anyone wanted to touch on that we didn't get a chance to?
I have to continually over and over praise how incredible the VO work is in this game.
Oh yeah.
Primarily the narrator.
That was his first voice acting gig.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yep.
And he's a musician. And oh my god, it
So many
makes
lines.
this game. It makes, and I'm so glad that the Final Cut has added what they
Fully
did
voice
because
acted. Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really
I will
glad I
say
waited for the
that
final
there
cut.
are some voice actors I like Kuno more in the original.
Yeah, I do prefer the original Kuno, but I don't hate the new Kuno.
I don't either. I think the original Kuno is better. I recommend you all check out the differences.
Mhm.
There's a couple of other voice differences that I don't really remember. Kim is the same, and
Mhm.
Everard's the same, and most of the voice actors
Yeah.
are the same. There's a
Joyce is
couple
the
of them
same.
different.
Yeah.
Joyce is the same. There's a couple of people who are different.
Yeah.
Lely is the same. I think Klasia is the same. Titus is the same. A couple of the Hardy Boys got redubbed because I think they were originally done by Chapo Trap House people, and I think they got in professional voice actors to fill in those roles. I could be wrong about that though, but I think that's the case.
I believe it.
I know a friend of the show, Middle Gray, also likes Kuno's original VO better. And,
Yeah. People were saying, "Oh, it was so annoying and it was so shrill." Yeah, that's the fucking
Kuno.
That's the
That's
whole
literally the
point of the
and
character.
it was so much better, and they toned it down on this Final Cut. I don't like it, but as much. But I still got used to it. It's still fine. I will say there were some times where people's voice lines wouldn't come in.
Yeah.
Once in a blue
Yeah.
moon.
It was
Yeah.
very rare, but there would be a couple times it just
There
didn't,
would
or
be
it was
a couple
reading
times.
the wrong.
Yeah, that happened to me a few times.
The
as
VO
well.
was not matching the text. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
repeating a dialogue option or something. It
Never had that happen.
was like
Happened to me a couple
maybe
times.
3-4 times
Yeah.
tops. Didn't break the experience at all. It was
No,
just like,
yeah. 0 out of 5.
0 out of 10. Shout out to Warehog Review Club.
Yeah, I guess that's the last question. Do we have scores for this?
It's a 10 for me.
It's a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10. This is my favorite game of all time.
Wow. I was not expecting that. I'm really glad you played it.
I love this game.
Because you were just finishing up Persona 4. I was like, yo, you should play Disco Elysium. You're like, I don't think this is my kind of game. I don't know. I'll try it. And this makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah, after Persona 4.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a
like
fine
the
game. That's just a
that-
long fucking
Yeah.
game, dude.
Yeah. But that makes me really happy to hear because this is definitely up there. Like probably my top 10 now.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Disco Elysium is definitely my top 10 favorite games of all time. Probably top 5. Probably.
This is also a 10 for me.
Look at that.
Wow, 10s across the board.
10s all around, baby.
That's a 45 Famitsu.
Yeah.
It's top 10 material. I don't know that it's enough of my usual kind of game that it could break like top 5, but it's definitely top 10 material.
Go ahead, Dory.
Oh, thank you. This was the first CRPG I think I ever played, and I definitely plan on playing more after this. I
Same.
never played a CRPG before, and this makes
Y'all-
me want to go back to Planescape, not Planetscape, and as well as those other older CRPGs, and give them a shot and see.
So
how they play.
Planescape really still holds up. It has more it has combat in it, whereas this doesn't really, so it's a little bit different on that end. It's not great as far as the combat is concerned, but like otherwise it's fantastic. Torment Tides of Numenera is really good as well. This is my favorite CRPG I've ever played. I've never had a game impact me emotionally like this one has,
Yeah,
and that
It's
I've
hard.
related to so resoundingly.
Yeah.
It like has like is such a great, like has a great literal mirror within sequence, but like it holds up such a good mirror to like who we are as people,
Mhm.
and what makes us do the things that we do, and find a way to not hate ourselves even because of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's an incredible message.
Absolutely. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who could not relate to any part of this game in some fashion.
Right.
There is definitely a character or a situation or a feeling that I think just about everybody on the planet could look at and be like, I get that.
It's a really human game.
Mhm.
It's a really nice depiction of the world and humanity and all the good and bad things that come with it.
And it's so goddamn gorgeous to look at constantly.
And I will
That's
say also
beautiful.
that there is literally a painter who inspired. I don't remember his name. I think it's Alex something. But there is a painter who inspired this game and its artwork. So if you enjoyed the artwork of this game, you should go check out their paintings. Also, just go to discoelysium.com. There should be a section for all of their influences, which includes Planescape, which includes this artist I'm talking about, as well as some novelists. I believe also includes the writer who did Third Policeman, but I could be wrong. Could be making that up. But yeah, it's
Wait,
a
where's
really good
this
section.
Where's this inspiration section you're talking about? I want to see if this artist is somebody that I'm thinking of.
I think it's discoelysium.com, although I could be wrong.
Yeah, what part?
I think
The FAQ. Wait, no, sorry, no. That's the wrong thing. I was looking at. I was pulling up the. There's definitely a Reddit page that has this. There's a Steam community page for sure.
Yeah, there's a Steam community page, which is I'm thinking of, and I think they also have it on.
Here, I'll post this. I think this might be close to what you were thinking of. Oh God, that's not. It's like, yeah, Planescape Torment, a huge inspiration and influence on us. Currently on sale: Kentucky Route Zero, True Detective, The Shield, The Wire, British Sea Power, Strugatsky Brothers. Yep.
Where's the artist?
Rembrandt is an artist that's mentioned. There are a few different artists. Oh, Jenny Seville.
Oh.
We're big fans of Jenny Seville and her work. Members of the have
Vinsky.
attended several of her exhibits in the past.
Yep.
Alex
Seville.
Kanevsky.
Oh, okay.
And
Alex
Alex
Kanevsky.
Kanevsky. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kanevsky. But Jenny Seville as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, those look like straight out of Disco. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we should post these as a link in the show notes or something.
Yeah.
True.
Put those in the spoiler cast if someone can grab them, and I will definitely throw those in the show notes.
Order there for you, buddy.
You rock, Rob. Why we
Happy to help.
wanted you on as a guest. All right, I guess that's Disco Elysium. If for some stupid reason you did not listen to me at the start of this podcast and you listened to this whole thing without playing this game,
Go play.
go fucking play this game.
Even if you play the game and then listen to it, go play it again.
That's right.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
Ryan.
You're right.
You in particular.
I want to say this game is not an intervention for Harry anymore. It's an intervention for you, Ryan.
Yeah.
just to play this game again.
I've seen credits on this game 4 times now, although I've only technically played it all the way through twice. But yeah, it's so worth doing. And I'm not the kind of person who replays games. I very rarely ever do that.
There are 3 games in my life that I replay frequently, and this one is going to get added to the list.
Hell yeah.
And this, there is no correlation between these games, mind you, but it's Skyrim, Pokemon Silver, and Borderlands 2.
I was gonna say Borderlands, Disco Elysium.
Yeah, and add Disco
Could not be
Elysium to the
more
list.
different. Yeah.
But those would be the games that I find myself like, I just want to play this for 5 hours and, you know, just experience it again
Just
for a little
vibe.
while. Yeah.
It's Bloodborne for me, for sure.
Mhm. I you know what? Add that to the list because I've got several characters and New Game Plus runs. I guess there's a good handful.
I play
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts 2 from time to time. You know, no big deal.
Yeah, they're not like you speed run it or anything.
Nah.
Well, I would like to thank all 3 of my lovely guests for joining me on this adventure.
No, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Look, I just
No.
had to hit record twice. That's
We weren't recording.
Oh, fuck.
oh no, we've been muted. No, wait, we're good.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. That would be
I would not
terrible.
do this again.
That's fair.
Yeah, that would be the death.
So I guess it's time for plugs. We shall start with Dory.
Hello, I'm Dory, and I sometimes my brain works. I am on a podcast called PS Premiere. We talk about PlayStation, allegedly, and we also talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. We just recently switched our podcast to a live format, and are trying that out and seeing how we feel from week to week in terms of the format. And yeah, you can check out our very varied and wild discussions we had last week, which includes discussions about Steam Deck, Space Jam, and I swear to God, we talked about PlayStation at least once or twice, technically. So we're still on for being Sony ponies. Besides that, you can find me on Twitch at Declare192. I haven't been streaming a ton because I just started a new job and I've been trying to balance that. But I want to eventually reintroduce streaming a little more into the week and starting up Yakuza 0. And then soon I will be playing Tales from the Borderlands with people making decisions, and I will regret everything.
Can't wait. Skelly.
Hi, I'm Skelly, as the man said. I'm on Twitch as Real Life Skeleton. I also have a podcast with my friend Middle Gray. It's called A Little Uncouth, and it is a lot uncouth. Also, I really want to cosplay Kim Kitsuragi. That's actually the most important takeaway from this whole plug
That's
thing. Whatever
great.
that means, I don't even know what that. But I want to cosplay him now.
Do it and post photos, please. That
Yes,
would be badass.
I want to stream as him, like
Do it.
dress and then
Yeah,
cosplay
absolutely.
stream.
Charity
I think
stream.
That'd be so fun. What was
Yeah.
that?
Do a
Charity
24-hour charity stream playing disco
I
as
heard
Kim.
dirty stream. And I was like,
I
that's
did too.
Kim?
That's
I don't know.
no, that's all your other streams.
Here.
That's
That's every other stream except for the Kimmy stream. No, yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. And you
There are more.
you
There's more.
streamed this entire game.
I streamed this whole game, and it was
Yeah.
wonderful. Right now I'm playing The Outer Wilds, and by right now I mean it's been a while. Because that game makes me fucking sick, dude.
Oh no, the motion sickness get you?
Yeah. I think it's like
That's
the
too bad.
field of view thing. Anyway, this is not about me. This is about you. Tell us about you.
I am Rob of the 1/4 of the seats we have on the Real Draft on Draft Punks. We also sometimes stream. We recently recorded an episode about Star Wars characters, which was great. You'll have to listen in to see what some bits were done. That was a blast recording. But also we have been doing a golf tournament, a Mario golf tournament to be specific, where we're playing with, I think we started it with like 15 people, participants, all playing Mario Golf Super Rush together. And we just wrapped up round 2 last night as of this recording. And it was so much fun. We just streamed it last night. You can probably find the archive on our Twitch channel at Real Draft Punks. And just the shambles that kept happening. Travis got a hole-in-one. He got an albatross. It was so good.
It was a fun
so
18 holes.
I'm still reeling from the fact that Travis actually went to eBay and bought a bird online. Like that was
What?
Brian's doing a great Brian's doing a great job.
I have no idea what a fucking albatross is. I just know it's a bird.
It's a weight you carry too.
Oh, okay.
It's a bird. Albatross is a bird, but it's also a metaphor. But Brian also did great commentary the whole time. So yeah.
Wait, Brian was on? I thought we got Toad.
Oh, you're right. It was so good.
And
Disco
if
Elysium, but all Toad all the time.
well, I'm playing
Toad
on PC. Where's that mod?
All right, I want Kuno to be replaced by Toad's
Toad.
voice.
Every character Garrus.
They're all making calibrations. Why?
And if you're listening to this podcast right here, you should definitely be listening to the other Spelunkers podcasts. We just finished up Okami. Boy, those were some hot takes. I can't wait to get some hate mail about my hottest take on that game that I said near the end of that last episode.
Oh wow! I can't wait to listen. I just need to finish it. The game.
Fair. How far are you? Just curious.
I'm about a third of the way through when I first started it.
Gotcha.
It's just been, so many games. Then this was my focus project.
I mean, they just came out with a game about Rob, so I mean, it's ridiculous.
True.
Yeah.
And he has to play it for realism's sake.
I mean, yes, for legal reasons.
Autobiographical.
Sure God would come down and smack Rob if
Sorry.
he did not play.
Autobiographical.
Oh, all right, we're going. That's it. I'm leaving. Fuck this.
Next up is Chris Tales. After that, we will be revisiting Ghost of Tsushima for the Iki Island DLC expansion. Very excited for that.
Sweet.
And we just decided our next game after that, we're going retro again, Phantasy Star 4.
Ooh.
Looking forward to playing that. Check out Gotta Rank 'Em All, where Chris and I rank Pokemon, with them, put them in the most officially arbitrary list of all time. 300 and
So good.
some odd Pokemon in. Oh boy,
Y'all are making some progress.
it's a good track. We're gonna do it in about a year.
Yep.
Which, you know what, sounds right considering there's 1,000 Pokemon.
It's a great project, man.
Thanks, man. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
It's fun to listen to.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad everyone loves that show who checks it out.
I just love listening to like all the shade that Electric Kid gets, and then all the love that Electric Kid gets, and just like everyone's fuck that Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh,
Pseudo rules.
We've
Get
got
out of here, Rob, with your bad opinions.
check out Last Call, Tom and Tyler's new podcast. It's recorded immediately after they finish their Wasted stream, so it's 20 to 40 minutes of them just drunk shooting the shit. And all the streams we stream almost every night of the week. Someone from Spelunkers is streaming. So yeah, check our channel out, twitch.tv/Spelunkers. I hope you all... Go ahead.
Ryan, it would be really cool if you all played D&D, but I'm afraid that's just not happening anytime soon, right?
Well, it's going to happen well before
Literally.
yeah, this comes out. But yeah, if you're listening to this and you didn't watch it live, we will definitely have the video version up in about 2 hours from the end of this recording.
That's what I wanted you to plug. I knew it was gonna. Yeah.
We are. Oh boy, madman that I am, signed up to DM all the rest of the Spelunkers crew who have never played D&D a Haunted
God
Mansion
help you.
one shot. It's going to be a wild time. Tom and Tyler are going to be drunk. It's
Woo!
Is it just you, Tom, and Tyler, or is there anybody else?
Chris is there, and a friend of Tyler's, Jeffrey, is coming
nice.
along as
Awesome.
well. So we've got a group of 4. It's going to be a wild time. That's
I hope so.
the only thing I can guarantee. I can't say wild good or wild bad. This is going to be chaotic
Just
neutral
wild.
of a time. So we're going to save the video, the VOD of that. So I hope you give it a watch. Hopefully it's not 8 hours long. Hopefully it's like 6 at the most, so I can get to bed around midnight. Thanks everybody for listening to the Spoiler Cast. I doubt this is going to be the last one, but we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
We love you.
Bye, good night.
Back to the shit factory.
Back to the shit factory.
Hey, Harry.